In 3, 2, 1.
Hey, this is Tom Waddle, worn out former Chicago Bears wide receiver, and you are listening to Greg Bragg's in the Stands.
Bulls are back, baby. Let's go.
The Bears, they started this new tradition last year where they celebrate their wins the correct way.
Bottom and Sylvie, ESPN 1000, don't miss it.
I know what you mean.
It's like their own Philly.
Okay. Okay, I think what it is.
We shouldn't be showing this. Am I crazy?
Yogi!
What a great sign that is. What have I told you? 17 minutes of rain would wash away 108 years of drought.
Do you see this team growing into the team that you were in 2005?
Great practice, everybody. They go
You are ridiculous.
There it is. Justin Fields' first career touchdown at Soldier Field, first passing touchdown at Soldier Field to Darnell Mooney. And we're hoping for many more of those on Halloween. Have in store for us this everything going on here. It's Bulls season just getting underway. It's Bears season struggling through. Even your Chiefs, are having the dog days of October right now. So, we're going to talk a little bit about everything. What's that, Johnny B?
I don't even know what's happening anymore.
How's your service, brother? Because you were kind of breaking up. I don't know if for everybody else.
I'm good. I look clear. You look fuzzy on my screen.
I look fuzzy. You were jamming up there. I don't know if the viewers were. For the viewers, was Johnny B jamming up there? Because for me, he was. So I didn't quite. Yeah, you like froze for a second as you were getting into.
I didn't really say that much, to be honest. So I just said I don't even know what's happening anymore. That's all I said. Yeah. That was it. There was no major detail announcement there, other than it was. I don't know what's happening. I'm still making money, but it's definitely I'm not betting on the Chiefs right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty wild times for both of our NFL teams. That's why here on Brags and Stands we've transitioned a little bit into basketball season as well. With, of course, my Purdue Boilermakers getting ready to get going here on Thursday, just under a week away, and then of course the Chicago Bulls doing some things here in Chicago. And both Johnny B and I are big Chicago Bulls fans. So we have a special guest here coming on in just a few minutes that's going to talk about both the Chicago Bears and the Chicago Bulls. So for those of you that are fans of both teams, enjoy it. If you're fans of just one of the teams, just try to bear with us. And then also bear with my internet. It says it's connected to the Ethernet. So, I'm trying to keep all my ducks in a row, as we say here on Brags in the Stands, because of our infamous duck race connoisseur here,
well,
Johnny.
At least your internet is not as bad as Doug Blank's, so at least you got that going for you.
Ducks line up. Ducks line up.
Ducks line up all day for Johnny B. Trying to get our ducks in a row here on Brags and this damn internet. I don't know what the heck. It might be jumping from Wi-Fi to the Ethernet. Why? I don't know. But hopefully we don't have any issues. And if we do, in the chat, feel free to let us know. And
let Greg know his internet is trash. Thank you.
And Taco. So here you are, and you're just gonna have to deal with us. So like Walmart connection, says Matthew Bursley. So maybe I'll have my assistant, aka my wife, come down here and make sure the Ethernet's good, and I can text her and before we get our guest on, make sure everything's good. But everyone says I'm lagging. I'm on my end. It feels like I'm straight as an arrow, but I guess everybody else is having problems. So maybe I can get Jenny here. This is what we do. Jenny, meatloaf.
Meatloaf, Mom, we want the meatloaf. We want it now.
Yeah. So Big Dollar Dave Trey, I texted him up a little bit ago. I think maybe he's doing. Come check the internet. We're having problems here, Jenny, and everyone's telling me I'm lagging. See, it's got the bars up, and I want to make sure we're good for our guest. Yeah, it's on Ethernet. So I don't know what to tell you people. It's on Ethernet. Just going to have to bear with me today. Sometimes my internet can be goofy. Either way, this is Brags in the Stands, and I'm your host, Gregory Braggs Jr., and this is my co-host, Johnny B., duck race connoisseur, diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan, toughing through the tough times all of a sudden. Tough times have come quick for your Chiefs. You went on the road to Nashville expecting a good game like we saw with the Titans and the Bills, and you got the first beatdown of the Patrick Mahomes era. How did that taste?
Well, it didn't taste great, but the weekend was fantastic. Nashville's a great town to go to. Met a lot of new people, met some friends there as well that obviously I've known for a long time. So it was all good. It was 80 degrees. It was sunny. The weather was terrible here, but it was a weird feeling. It almost was like another dimension because there's obviously a lot of Chiefs fans now with the Mahomes era, everything that we've done the last couple of years. And it's meltdown city, man. A lot of these people are melting down at 3 and 4. I can't even imagine what they would be like if they actually knew the true pain before the Mahomes era, before Honey Badger and those guys got here. I can't even imagine how these new fans would react, if they, with a 2-14 season like we had not too many moons ago. I mean, it is full meltdown, baby, for 3 and 4.
Well, it's hard to feel bad for you with all the, the luxury of 2 straight Super Bowls, 3 straight AFC championships. You've had your day in the sun. The NFL always catches up at some point, and, you guys have obviously some injuries and things like that, but that's how the NFL is. They adjust, and now
Greg, I'll explain it real quick to you. You guys score the fewest points in the league. You stink. We turn the ball over. We lead the NFL in turnovers, and we stink. Those two things cannot happen if you want to win.
No.
You can score, and you can't turn the ball over.
There's a lot of variables.
Turning it over.
A lot of variables that go into being a successful football. Fans know that more than anybody, and that's right, Matthew Bursley. The internet, that's goofy. No, it's the person behind the camera. That's right. But no, I'm going to blame it on my internet, and hopefully it stays clean and clear for our guest of the night, a good friend from Twitter Sphere, Bears Twitter Sphere, Bulls Twitter Sphere. And here he is, our guy, Brad Squires, a.k.a. Buzz, a.k.a. Buzz on Tap. You can find him on Twitter, on Tap Sports, and that they do a great job over there. And finally, we've had so many opportunities where we've, I keep ditching you in South Lot, so we haven't met face to face. And, as you crack them, I know that's your slogan over there.
Crack them, man.
You got to crack one before we get into this, but it's great to finally have a face-to-face conversation and maybe, eventually meet actually in person. But I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Oh, no, for sure, man. I'm really appreciative of you having me. We haven't got to meet up in South Lot yet or whatever. I don't know if we're going to meet at all this year in South Lot because I'm about done, Greg. I'm about done paying for that parking and all that and $10.50 for a beer. But we're going to meet up one of these days, man. If you keep hitting the United Center, you'll find me there. We got our season tickets to that too. So, and
then of course, the United Center, and Salim was giving me shit from the Bulls Gold podcast. He's giving me all this shit because we were going to meet up at the game. And then I found my way over to the tunnel, and then I start doing my coverage. And then of course I can't walk away. And you guys are all having pregame drinks, and I'm trying to shoot the shots and do my thing. And then after the game, I was going to meet up. And then of course the LeVar Ball mania kicks off. So I'm just out there doing my thing. And of course, we miss our chance to meet again. So, but we will. You're right.
Are you saying LeVar Ball is more important than this fine gentleman?
Oh, LeVar Ball is definitely way more important than me, man. That's the big baller right there.
Content is king. Content is king, Johnny B. We all know this. Here, Brags and Sands, I thirst for that kind of content. So if LeVar Ball UC court after a big Bulls win, I'm gonna be right there with my camera. You can bet your ass there. And that's where we're gonna start off, Buzz, because we're gonna talk some Bears here in this conversation on the back end. But I wanted to start off with the Bulls. You do a great job over there on Tab Sportsnet with your Bulls on Tap show, and you do halftime, shows. Just come in on Spaces and do a lot of different stuff to keep fans informed. And I really enjoy listening to your opinion because you're dialed in to this mildly. So, the Bulls are starting out hot. They're 4-0. And then last night they fall finally to the New York Knicks, albeit in a close game at the end. Who knew it? They're down 13 with 2 minutes to play. And all of a sudden it gets real close. Maybe before we go into the details of individual players or games, what are your overall impressions here in these first 5 games of these new look Bulls?
Oh, I mean, I like the way they play. I like Lonzo Ball a lot. DeMar DeRozan, even though he's not shooting very efficient, I still like him a lot. I think he looks good. What Zach's going to give you. Vooch is going to get hot eventually. It's just kind of like through the first 4 games, I felt like they played real well. I was really happy with the defense that they played. It kind of carried over from the preseason, which was good. I mean, albeit it's teams that are not so great. Zionless New Orleans Pelicans and Detroit without Cade Cunningham. I was happy with how they played. Even last night, they played some good defense. It's just there's concerns that I have, and a lot of that comes down to bench scoring. And maybe that'll get fixed when Kobe White comes back a little tiny bit. You can add, 13 to 15 off the bench. Bulls are ranked 28th in that right now, and then we're ranked dead last in rebounds. You're not going to win many games. I don't care what era it is. You're not going to win many games if you're not rebounding the ball. And the Bulls are ranked dead last in that right now. So,
well, they only have, they have 1.5 centers. They have one center in Vooch, and then their backup center they barely use. They just use them for the first time here in this last game. How much do you think that AK is going to need to add to their big man depth here if they want to take any kind of a serious run, especially now with the loss of Patrick Williams?
Yeah, Patrick Williams wasn't playing great, and not that I'm, hating on the kid. I really hope he succeeds and does well, but if you guys look at him, he was negative in defensive rating numbers. I mean, he was just not good offensively. He showed a couple flashes last night before the injury took place, where he got aggressive and he looked good on a little floater, a little pull-up mid-range, and then he tried taking Mitchell Robinson's body, and Robinson got hit with that flagrant, and it took Pat.
Isn't that ironic? The first time he really shows that hardcore aggression, it puts him out for the season.
It's just so bad. Like, it was like that can really mess with his mental. Like he was finally aggressive, and then now you go down with a very severe left wrist dislocation. I was reading about this injury, and there's a couple doctors or whatever they are. They have blue check marks, so I'm going to assume they're doctors on Twitter talking about how severe this injury could be. You can lose feeling in your wrist and all that noise, man. So I'm worried about him. But going back to Acme adding, you have Thad Young, who's in San Antonio right now, who's not playing, right? That would be a pretty good power forward move. I don't know how you go about that to happen. Can you get a buyout with San Antonio? We're going to have to trade again with them, initiate a trade. I don't know.
How stupid is that rule?
Yeah, I don't really get it, man. I don't really get it. And then you have a guy that I tweeted about earlier that this might be a pipe dream, Greg, but I do kind of think it's somewhat realistic. You have a guy like Marvin Bagley sitting in Sacramento, who was the second pick in the 2018 NBA draft, who's not playing. Like, he's only appeared in 2 games. This guy played the first 3 seasons of his career. He's like 14-7, 14-8. Like, this dude can grab boards. He can do some good work. I mean, his value has got to be so low because Sacramento is just a piss poor running organization. I mean, it's just the truth. They're really bad. So there's a couple options that are out there. Even free agency, like Kenneth Faried, maybe might have some ties to Arturis over in Denver. I mean, a lot of people are saying our size, saying DeMarcus Cousins isn't going to happen. You already have Tony Bradley on your bench. That's probably not going to happen. Bagley was balling at Duke. Taco Grease 84. Damn right he was. But yeah, it just didn't really, I don't know what to do from here. I think you see a lot of Derek Jones Jr., Greg, maybe Javonte Green getting that starting run. It scares me in the long run. You're not going to be able to win a lot of games without getting boards, man. You can't be dead last and be a true competitive team if you're getting killed in rebounds every night.
Yeah, the second chance points, they get beat 11-5 last night, but it was also the second chance points.
Yes.
I think it was like 14-4 or something like that.
For me, watching all the games so far, obviously defensively it's there for me. They needed to get some stops. I didn't think at times they played great. I thought the continuity was a little off in that New York game a little bit. There was some spectacular plays, and some communication with Caruso and some of the other guys. And I think that'll get better as the season goes on. Even the game before the Knicks game, they kind of let I think it was Detroit kind of get back into Toronto get back in it at the end of the game a little bit with some turnovers. And you can practice all that all you want, against your guys. But until you get into that adrenaline-filled situation and kind of know where the other guy's going to cut and go, and I think that'll get better as the season goes on. And you hope that they just do the little things, like squaring up, boxing out so they can get those rebounds. I didn't see too much of that, honestly, in the Knicks game, and they did make a little run to get back in it. But, I mean, the rebounds are definitely an issue. But defensively, in an era of NBA where you don't see too much of that, it's good to see some early flashes of the D for me.
Yeah, shoot, against Toronto, they couldn't inbound the ball in the fourth quarter. Like, that's the little things that a team that's just getting to know each other, those are the little things they got to get worked out. And you can tell the difference between a team like Toronto or New York last night, who's been through some battles together. I know New York has a couple new players, but they've been through it a little more, and they kind of know what they want to do, especially offensively. And the Bulls are still trying to figure that out, even with all the talent they have across the board. Speaking of that, let's play the final play of the game and get your opinion and your thoughts on that. Here it is, DeMar DeRozan. And there it is, the final shot. They come back down 13 with 2 minutes to play and have a chance to win the game on the final shot. What did you think of the draw up and the decision for DeMar to keep it? What did you see there?
Basically on the inbounds, I wasn't happy in the beginning. We talked about this on Bulls on Tap last night. I did not like Zach LaVine inbounding the ball, and everybody was just like, well, it's a play where he can come off that screen coming out of bounds. DeMar uses his body to block. Zach gets open. He goes for a shot. It could work out that way. All of us knew that was going to happen. Like, that's exactly what we all thought probably was going to happen. It didn't happen. DeMar comes over. Vooch breaks to the three-point line, and that brings that extra defender over. So that was really hard for DeRozan to get a good look because that extra defender came over. Also, I don't know what happened last night. We talked about this on the show too. I don't know if this was the alcohol talking or not, but I'm pretty sure somebody put lube all over DeMar DeRozan's shoes last night. That guy was slipping all over the damn place.
Times, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, actually every Bull was just falling last night. I didn't see any Knicks falling like that. It was like the Bulls just hitting the deck everywhere. But I mean, all kidding aside, I'm not mad that DeMar kept the ball. I just didn't really like how he broke to the side and Vooch came over there too. If you remember, there was a game last year. I wish I could remember the opponent. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but Zach had a game-winning shot opportunity, and Denzel brought his defender with him over to Zach. Okay. And it brought the other guy over. Zach tried getting the shot up, and it just didn't work out. Kind of looked like that a little bit to me. I just, it's one loss, in the grand scheme of things, and they're going to get better from this. And sure. It's just, I don't know. If I'm the coach, though, even if I have DeMar DeRozan on my team, I'm putting the ball in my all-stars' hands 9 times out of 10, guys. And especially in the first situation all year where a big bucket need to be had. I know Zach didn't shoot super efficient last night, but neither did DeRozan at all. And I know he did really good in the Toronto game, kind of getting us back and getting us to where we needed to be, but he was not efficient. I would have kind of give Zach that ball, let him have the run with it. But hey, it's a learning experience. Nothing to overreact about. We're on to the next against Utah.
No, definitely nothing to overreact about. And for the people that think, the hand up, there wasn't only like 5 seconds left. So I'm not sure how close LaVine would have been able to get to the basket. As you can see, the clock's basically at 1 second.
Yeah, it was at 1-9.
Right.
Yeah.
So, to me, more than likely, Zach was going to have to pull up at some point, and he was having trouble with his shot. I didn't hate that he kept it. I almost think he could have crashed to the rim a little harder because his guy was committed to staying out to Vooch, but the hand was there. Yeah. Then, like you said, he slips. Although when he elevates, he's got a clean look, and he's knocked that shot down before, and even in a Bulls uniform at this point. This was the home opener against the Pelicans, hand in his face, similar kind of distance, knocks it down and won. And I think that was part of the pump fake that when he slipped, A, he said he was trying to collect himself, but B, try to get his defender in the air.
Oh, yeah.
And just didn't happen and just didn't knock it down. I do worry about this upcoming stretch while these guys are trying to find themselves now, especially with Patrick Williams out, trying to figure out rotations. While you're facing teams that know who they are, with all, even with all the talent, they could string some losses together. All these good vibes we've had could come crashing down. And, November is always a humbling month for the Chicago Bulls, even for the last 20 years, it seems like. So I'm worried about how this is going to go, here in the near future. But overall, you can't help but be excited in general about this team. I mean, one guy I asked you in Spaces, I was worried about Vooch, being able to keep up with the pace. I thought he had a much better game last night. I don't know if my expectations are too high for him, but I just get so frustrated.
I thought that they should have put him kind of more at the top on that last play and had him do the screen at the top for whatever play they want to roll, and he could have rolled because he was pretty hot with the hand a little bit in the fourth quarter.
It was his best shooting night last night.
Yeah, I'm always the guy that's going to roll with the hot hand. I mean, I know superstars are superstars, but you got him down there low, tucked in the in the baseline in the corner. I don't know if that's the best place for him for me. And by the way, I did cash that Vooch 3-pointer bet last night. I know
you go. I was worried the whole game for it.
For me, I'm putting Vooch up at the top there with the screen, and he can set that screen and then roll, whether you have Levine take the ball or DeRozan, whatever. But that leaves an option, for him to get that ball and shoot, or he can drive and pull up or whatever. I just didn't like where they had Vooch with him having a good game yesterday on that last play.
Now, Buzz, do you think that my expectations are too high for him? Because it seems like every time he's short with a shot, he missed a free throw last night.
Free throw too. He needed to hit that.
Yeah, I tend, just in these first 5 games, the guy that's drawing my ire the most is him. Am I overreacting and my expectation bar too high for Vooch, or does he need to step it up a little more?
I think he's having a hard time realizing his role. You got to look. This guy was the number 1 option in Orlando for quite a few years. Helped get. I think he had a couple playoff appearances, like 2 playoff appearances over there. He's an all-star over there. He's in a new situation now where he is more so in Billy's offense, coming off, like he is setting the screen and coming off screens, and that's how he's making his living right now. Not a ton of time to create for him on ball. Not a lot. I don't feel like a ton of stuff is drawn up for him in the paint, and he's really good at face-up mid-range game, and he's really good back to the basket. I think he's going to be a lot better, though. Like I said, this 31% shooting from downtown for him this year, 43% from the field. I mean, that is just all below, his career average. And honestly, like, even though he's not playing great, the guy's averaging 16 and 11 and like 4. So, once that shot starts falling more consistently, I think, I'm not saying you're overreacting. He needs to play better because you want to win, and that's a fair thing to say. Like, hey, man, you need to play better so we can win. And obviously we were undefeated for a minute there, but in the best game he played of the season yesterday, it just didn't turn out that way. And, he can't be the only one grabbing boards. And that's the
right.
thing, Yeah. So, a lot of my fire is going more towards, believe it or not, DeRozan, just because I feel like I don't like a run stopper being in there. I do feel he can create really well, but maybe I'm overreacting too. So I guess we'll have to see. You're only 5 games in. Man.
What do you mean by run stopper? Like when they're pushing the ball, he likes to slow it down. Is that what you mean by that?
Yes. DeRozan, when he's getting the ball, if you notice, watch, especially when they're in transition,
he wants to isolate and
he'll pull up and he'll kind of isolate, and then he'll get into a back post game, back to the basket kind of game. And that's just like run, dude.
Yeah, because their fast break points last night were not high.
Right.
And that's their game.
And I think there's opportunities there, obviously, with Levine and Ball creating, and obviously when Caruso comes off the bench, there's opportunities there. And obviously Vooch can handle the ball either inside, and dish as well for a big man. There's a lot of opportunities there. But if you're slow, pulling back and slowing it down for no reason, I mean, I don't know. That seems to be taking points off the board to me.
And I think that he'll be better. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, these guys, DeRozan's a multiple-time All-Star, right? Zach and Vooch didn't have a lot of time together last year after Vooch came over at the trade deadline. Zach was then hurt. Like, these guys didn't have a ton of time besides this training camp and preseason to really get together. They went on it was technically an 8-game winning streak, right? They went undefeated in preseason, then win the first 4 in the regular season. Like, they're learning to play together. Sure. It's going to take a little bit of time. There's nothing to be overly worried about unless we thought that this was a championship team. And I think that we can all here admit right now today, I don't think they are. That. Yeah, right. I'm give me the beer. I'm riding. They're winning the ship, no doubt. No, I just
we'll crack this open, and I'll give you all sorts of championship dreams of glory.
There we go. That's exactly what I'm saying, man. But it's a learning process. And with DeRozan, I feel like he's going to have to adapt here a little bit. He's going to have to be that guy he was basically in San Antonio every once in a while, playing that little that point forward, getting these assists, looking for his teammates, and then creating himself in his back to the basket game because he commands defense coming towards him at that point because he's very skilled at that. So we'll just have to see what happens. I think these guys will be all right.
I think that's probably part of the reason you've seen some lineups with where he's just out there and the other guys are getting breathers.
Right.
And it's like DeRozan and the backups in there. So maybe that's to that point of, letting DeRozan be able to do his thing with that offense. And then when they get to the Lonzo Ball, Levine offense, now you gotta go. So, we have a question in the chat here from the Factor One, and you've somewhat answered it, but maybe expand on it. Do you guys think the Bulls can be exposed as an undersized team this year? What's the biggest weakness in your opinion? As I said, I think you've kind of answered that, but maybe expand on it a little more for the Factor.
Yeah, I think being undersized is going to really hurt us in important games when we can't grab boards. So you're going to have to either look internally to make a different option to try to get more rebounds. And I don't really know what that is because right now, Tony Bradley's on your bench, but he's not a very mobile big. He's a backup center. That's his job. You have a guy like Derek Jones Jr. that's on your bench who's super freaky athletic slam dunk champion. All that, like, runs the floor super, super well, but he's not a great rebounder.
He hasn't played either.
I know, which is sickening to me. I don't really get it.
Supposed to be shy slam a jamma.
I do. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get it, And then you have a guy like Marko Simonovic, who's down in the G League right now that they brought in there was their second round pick last year, draft and stash, right? And we brought him over this year. I had the pleasure to get to go see him on the 17th. The Windy City Bulls invited me and Juice to go to a game or sit courtside, watch Simonovic play. So I can't wait to see that and see if he's like, because we saw him in summer league and preseason a bit. I didn't think he was the most physical guy, so I don't know if these internal options help. So I think rebounding is their biggest weakness.
What's his height?
Simonovic is 6'10", I believe. Okay. Yeah, I believe he's 6'10". So
and he can stretch the floor a little bit, right?
A tad bit. Like Greg, he's gonna have to work on his shot. He's going to have to work on his shot. He wasn't the best three-point shooter. Like, a lot of people kept saying, oh, he's Lowry light. Like, listen, Lowry Markkanen, as much as he was soft to us sometimes, he was like a 38 to 40%, three-point shooter. Simonovic, he's got to work to get there. I don't know if he can get there. Okay. So I think that's the biggest concern. And I think, again, too, our bench scoring until Kobe White gets back is a big concern as well. Even when Kobe does get back, you're going to have you have Caruso, Kobe coming off your bench, but those two are like pretty much the instant offense. Everybody else on that defense is either like a really good defender or a high motor guy.
Sure.
So I think that rebounding and bench scoring are definitely two major concerns that I kind of have moving forward.
Well, one guy coming off the bench that, we talk about who's drawing my eye or who's drawing my eyes and my oohs and my ahs is this guy. Alex Caruso, the Caruso, big time hot shy slamma jamma that opening night, blew the roof off with the alley-oop.
It was a great night.
I'm sure it was going nuts in your section, going nuts in mine. And this guy, man, what a pickup. I can't believe the Lakers let him out of that house of theirs, because this dude does it all on both ends. He keeps his hands busy. His eyes are always to the next move. It's almost like a chess player, the way him and Lonzo play. I couldn't be more impressed with Alex Caruso at this point. The MVP chants are a little tongue-in-cheek, but I understand why fans are going there because he's just so much fun, and you can respect a guy that plays like that, especially here in Chicago.
Oh, you have to give MVP chance at this point. The last 4 years we've been, trotting out guys like Walt Lemon Jr. and Denzel Valentine and Cristiano Felicio.
These guys are Hall of Famers in comparison.
Right.
I didn't really understand the hate, for a lot of people were like, oh, it's disrespectful for the MVP chant. I know he appreciated, just the
he missed the free throw when they started chanting.
Positivity coming to the new team and all that. And obviously he's a high energy and electric player, and I can't believe the Lakers let him go, man. I really can't.
No, he's a great piece for your bench. He's a good 3-point shooter. He's a very high IQ guy. He could pass the ball real well, just like we just saw in that clip right here. And just defensively, guys, like he's everywhere. I'd like to say he's a little bit of a more athletic Kirk Heinrich with his motor, right? Like Kirk was really good on defense.
Look at him putting the clamps on Kemba here.
That's what I'm saying.
Night in a big moment in the game.
Huge moment too, right?
And it's not like he's super long. He's just a pest. And like you need those kind of players. Like players like that on your bench with a very talented team go make deep playoff runs. With a guy just like Caruso. Yeah. You saw what he did with the Lakers. So, I love that guy. I think he's very good on the bench, but him and Kobe alone on that bench and, how they're going to kind of stagger the lineup. I really think we're going to see a 9-man rotation once Kobe gets back. They're going to probably settle at that and then just get like Io in there, maybe DJJ. Well, I think DJJ will get a little bit more run, but, now that Pat's hurt, but I think it'll be a 9-man rotation. But yeah, I love Caruso. I think he looks good.
Got a couple comparisons. Andres Nocioni in the chat. Maybe in folklore fandom, the way Noach was just loved and revered by the crowd here. And then, of course, Bear Truth 9 is calling him Dave Kaplan with a headband. Maybe a little more athleticism than old Capper. I know Cap works hard in the gym, but come on now. Caruso can blow the top off that rim. So no David Kaplan comparison, Bear Truth 9. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, I was just saying, he's obviously active with the hands. Like you said, he's not the longest guy ever, but he's really good with the hips. He's real fluent in the hips and is able to drop, get the good drop step with the feet and get in position like on that clip that we just watched. So, he's obviously going to be a fun player to watch all season. I had the Bulls several times early on in the season on the big 85-inch, the middle TV at my sports book in my house. And it's been exciting. When you took that video of that dunk, Greg, at the thing, we had that on the 85-inch, and the people that I had over were like on their feet in the Johnny B-side sports book. It was exciting. So I'm looking forward to watching him play. And a lot of times I couldn't see anything but the highlights from just because the West Coast games, I wouldn't always stay up all the time. So I'm excited to have him on the squad and get to see him, have some highlight real type plays for sure.
And you saw in that clip in the preseason where they were practicing and they showed that live scrimmage, and he was just talking about communication with the players, what to call out when they're on defense. And it was just a simple thing, but you just saw how he asserted himself. He's new to this team. He can be quiet and just fall into his role. He's not. He's stepping up as a leader, and they need that with a new team, young team for the most part, and guys to be the vocal leader of this ball club. And I think he certainly is one of them, even though he comes off of the bench.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He has championship pedigree. Sure. This guy's a champion. We
don't count the COVID.
I don't like talking about the bubble. I don't like talking about the. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
If I count his championship, then I got to count Shane's Dodgers championship, and then I can't do that. I'm not giving LeBron I'll give Caruso the bubble title, but I can't give LeBron.
I only use it to fit my narrative.
Yes.
So like LeBron, I don't remember him being there. I do remember Caruso being there. So but this guy brings a lot of great pedigree with him, man. And he's quietly, well, not quietly to the fans anymore. He is becoming a leader on this team, a fan favorite, a guy who also is, I think, respected within that locker room for his defensive prowess. It just is what it is. Like the guy is all over the place. I think there's some young players on this team that can learn from him. And, he was teammates with Lonzo Ball at one point. So those guys got, some history together too. I like Caruso. Low-key great pickup for the Chicago Bulls.
Now you mentioned Lonzo Ball, and that's the next guy I want to get into, Perfect. As we go through some of the individual new look Bulls. Man, as much as I love Caruso, I think I'm getting the Ball jersey first. Talk about an active player at all times with his hands, his feet, his eyes. I just love the way this guy plays the game, and I can't respect any more. There's so much respect for how awkward his shot looked when he first came into this league, and now how clean it looks coming out of his hand. That shows a guy that puts a lot of work into his game. What are your thoughts so far with Lonzo Ball, and can he elevate himself in, being here in Chicago, and how we hype up guys into a superstar type, right next to Levine type of player here in Chicago?
Greg, I love what you said about his shot, because there's a YouTube video. I'll send it to you. I can't remember the title of it. I want to credit who did it, but they actually go through the progressions of his shot mechanics. And you can see it from like year one, where the ball started down here. I know people are listening on podcasts, you can't see this, but the ball started down here. Then it kind of came here. Now it's kind of here with the, nice follow through. Shot mechanics have improved greatly, but for Lonzo, for me, I was a huge fan of Lonzo out of UCLA. I loved Lonzo's game. The guy's a walking triple-double. And I mean, I feel like that's true that he's above average rebounder for his size. He's got great floor vision. He's a great floor general. Shot was broken, no doubt, but that's like one of the easiest things to learn. You can't really teach smarts. And his defense was absolutely amazing. Like, he's a very good defender. He's a pest, and he's athletic enough to remain on ball, and he's also strong enough. You saw him last night. He was on Julius Randle a little bit.
Yeah,
that was a tank, guys. He's a tank.
He had the clamps on him too.
If Julius Randle tried to back me down in the paint, I'd be in the 300 level. I would have gotten launched up there, But I love Lonzo, man. Every year he's been in the league, 3-point percentage has gone up. His free throw percentage has gone up. The field goal percentage now, he needs to be better at that. He needs to be more aggressive. And that's where a lot of people are going to laugh at this, because more shots might make it a tad bit better. But if this guy keeps shooting and doing it confidently, he's going to make more baskets. Yep. And that's what he needs to do. I think that he's going to be a staple here for a long time. It seems that obviously this is, new romance kind of shit. We're in lust and everything, right. But at the same time,
we're lining up the parade trucks.
Right. This team wanted him for him, and he wanted to be here with Zach. That's why, Zach ain't going anywhere. Yeah. So I love Lonzo's game. And at 12, like, what is he? 12, 6, and 5 right now, shooting 38% from downtown. His scoring will go up. He'll be like 14, 6, and 5 all year. And those are good enough numbers right now, guys. I think he could, though, if he really focused on scoring. I think he can get about 16, 17 a game. Yeah, but this year I'll cap him out.
They got to get out on the fast break more than they did last night, I feel like, to really elevate his numbers even more. When it turns into half court, then I worry a little bit about, because like last night he went 1 for 6 from 3, but the game was moving a little slower. And I thought the Knicks had Tibbs. We all know about Tibbs and his defensive game plans. And they took us out of a lot of the stuff that I think the players want to do. And they were allowing them to do the things that they're not necessarily comfortable in, letting guys have threes that maybe that aren't going to be their shot every night, or, trying to push, DeRozan outside his mid-range game. They let him have a few threes earlier in the game. So it'll be interesting. But another, speaking of the balls, I got to shout out LeVar Ball. This guy, everyone hated on this guy for years, because he talked a lot of smack on ESPN First Take, said he could take down Jordan one-on-one, which is just funny in and of itself. But
premeditated, obviously.
Yeah, but look at the proof is in the pudding with this guy. He's got all his kids are extremely talented. You see the evolution of Lonzo Ball, like you just elaborated on, and then of course LaMelo's balling out. Are you happy that LeVar Ball is part of the Bulls Nation family, or do you worry? He was like Beatles mania with LeVar down by the baseline after the game. Everybody trying to take pictures. I don't think United Center security was ready for that.
I'm not trying to get too deep or whatever, but I only have a dad. Like, that's just how I kind of grew up. It was just me and my old man. That was it. No one else. Just me and him. So I love LeVar, because LeVar talks that shit for his sons, and he puts them on pedestals, and he does not care if you don't see them on that pedestal. He's going to tell you they're on that pedestal. Sure. So I've always been a LeVar guy. I think he's hilarious.
I have been too.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think he's hilarious. And you know what? More importantly of being hilarious, he's a good father. So, like, the fact that the guy wants to have fun and that his kids are making it and doing their thing, yeah, I absolutely love LeVar. I think he's a great guy. I love the fact that he had a big, like, that Benny the Bull gave him that shirt, like the big Buller brand or whatever the hell it was.
I was trying like hell to get close to him, because my life's goal for this season for the Bulls is to get a video with him saying "Big Baller Brags." I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off, but I'm that's what I'm gunning.
Well, we have to make it happen.
I was gunning for it the first night, but so many people were going for him. All I could get was the video of him dancing, because I can't bum rush the court, even though I tried. But it is funny how, he's so split. You either love him or hate him, even in the chat chubs, giving him props, and then Taco Grease says he's a fool. So you either love him or hate him, but I honestly respect the hell out of him.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Talk about, calling his shot. He said all 3 of his kids were going to be big time. And, Lonzo and LaMelo certainly are that. And, don't be surprised if other,
LiAngelo. He's with the Hornets. He's with the Hornets in the G League. He's in
I was going to say,
right
and then who? So in the other video I had, I didn't load it up. Then he's got a fourth brother.
As far as I know, there's the 3.
That's what I thought. Only the 3. But then there was somebody signing autographs with LeVar. But I didn't think that was LiAngelo.
No, it could have probably been the agent for Lonzo that's always with Lonzo everywhere. I wish
I would have pulled the video up because I was like, everybody was
it's
calling.
Lonzo, LiAngelo, and LaMelo. And Lonzo, obviously, with the Bulls. LaMelo, obviously, with the Hornets, the Rookie of the Year last year. And LiAngelo had that trouble at UCLA where he got arrested for stealing shit in China or something. And then he got kicked off the team, went to Lithuania, but he never really found his way to the league.
So Taco's elaborating, saying a fool in a good way, entertaining as fuck. And I agree. He is entertaining. And, I enjoy his confidence. So I'm right there step for step with you. I'd be hard pressed if I had 3 ballers of sons like that. It'd be hard for me to sit on my hands on the sidelines.
Oh, you'd be talking all that shit.
I'd be talking so much shit. I mean, I'm a Braggs. You got to live up to the name. A couple guys that aren't as well known. I wanted to touch on, or as far as just, obviously everyone's gonna know this guy, so we're gonna touch on him first, and then I'll end with the guy that's a little lesser known. But how about seeing Io here from Illinois coming in a Bulls uniform last night? He checks in with Derrick Rose. Here he was in the first night, dropping a dime he only had an assist on the night to Bradley. Didn't get a bucket. I was hoping to get his first bucket as a Bull, but wasn't meant to be that night. But have you been impressed with Io? Last night, it seemed like he was, trying to find his way a little bit at that air ball, but I like the way he competes. I've seen him at the high school level and college level. Played in Big Ten and Chicago high school basketball is as tough as it gets. Been through some serious battles at Morgan Park. So what are your thoughts on Io here so far?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it when we got him in the second round. Greg, I didn't think they were going to get him. I couldn't believe that he was still there. I thought he was definitely be at least a late first round.
Unbelievable. A talent like that falls to the second round.
I agree with you. What I've seen of him so far in the NBA, I love his composure. And that's the best thing that you could put it as. He's got a good knack for the ball. He's always composed out there, and he seems to be confident. And that's an absolute great thing to have in a rookie like that. I think he's going to be, I don't know what he's going to be in the league in itself, but I do think that he has the potential to be a very good and dependent role player. And we'll just have to see him develop a little bit more. He needs to work on the jump shot a tiny bit there and finishing in the paint, but that'll come in time. He's a rookie, so we'll see what happens. But the fact that he's getting run as a second round pick on a potential playoff team, the Chicago Bulls, that should speak volumes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not a surprise to me. Only surprise was him falling to the second round when you talk about one of the best players in the Big Ten, which is, say what you want about the Big Ten when they get to the NCAA tournament, but it's as a competitive a conference as you're going to find in college basketball. These teams literally kick the shit out of each other, and he's out there banging with the best of them 2 years now with Illinois. And then, of course, what he did at, for Chicago public league, games. I saw some real deal battles, between Curie and Simeon and everything else. Like some of the best basketball you'll see, in my opinion, is some Chicago high school basketball. Everybody should take some time and check it out. The last guy, individual player I want to talk about is someone that honestly has surprised me. We saw him last year. Johnny B and I actually caught a game at the end of last season when they started to allow fans back in. But I did have to look at my program to start the game opening night when this dude threw one down. Oh, yeah. There he is, Javonte Green, extreme bounce, as they call him on Twitter, but he really does live up to that name. But just overall, his game in general, yeah, he throws down the shy slam and jam and dunks, but, I just think he gives them a lift defensively as well. What are your thoughts here with Javonte Green and what he brings to the bench mob?
The guy's a high motor player, you know. I mean, the Bulls are kind of full of those a little bit. He is got a definitely high motor. He's super athletic, and he's super strong. Undersized as hell for the position that we're asking him to play. But hey, man, that's kind of working for him right now. So, you know, I love Javonte. I think that it was a great pickup from the Celtics. I mean, they basically paid us to take him, last year in that trade. So I definitely love that because Tice came back in that deal. So I like Javonte Green a lot. I think that he's going to be the starter moving forward here. Even though I'd like it to be DJJ, I just don't think it will be because, like you said earlier, Greg, that he hasn't really played at all. So right. I think it'll definitely be Javonte. But no, he gives us really good, energy, and energy's infectious. We just had Joakim Noah night the other night. If anybody knows about that, it's definitely a guy like Joakim. So
that's right.
I think that Javonte is a very good defender too, which is a good thing. And hey, man, he's hitting that corner three with ease, 60% from three so far through this young season. So I'll take it.
He brings a lot to the table, and it seems like every time he comes in, it gives the team a lift. So I like what he's doing, and it surprised me because he's a rollover from last year, and you talk about all these new names coming in, then all of a sudden you go to the first game and Javonte Green throws down the first big dunk, the first oohs and ahs of the game. And I'm like, who the fuck? Oh, yeah, Javonte Green. You get all excited about everybody else, and you forget about those key role players that are on the team. And as you mentioned, no bigger role than this guy and what he did for the city of Chicago.
2014 Defensive Player of the Year.
There it is. Joakim Noah night last night. A lot of Bulls alums on hand to be there. Ben Gordon, Tony Kukoc, everybody that ever played with Joakim felt like, that was, played a big role. Kirk Heinrich, all the guys were there over the weekend. And then, of course, Taj, Derek, and Tibbs on the other sideline. So fitting that they scheduled Joakim Noah night for when they played the New York Knicks. What are your thoughts on the impact Joakim Noah has had on the Chicago Bulls and on this city?
Oh, I love Joe. I think the Noah's Ark Foundation is really cool. I actually got to talk to his rep in email a couple times about the work that he does around the city, trying to partner up with OnTap, see if OnTap could do anything with them as well. But yeah, no, Joakim was great, man. He embodied the city. There's guys like that might have not been the most dynamic basketball players, but were good enough, but just captured you, and that was Joakim. I mean, he was a defensive player of the year, though he had skill on him. Don't get me wrong. Defensive player of the year, was a one-time All NBA player, finished fourth in MVP voting. The guy, two-time All-Star, he was great. And again, he just kind of embodied Chicago. I think that's what Stacey had said last night, that heart, hustle, and muscle, that famous catchphrase that Stacey says came from Joakim. Just like hard hat, lunch pail came from Taj Gibson, So, I love the fact that he got a night here. I know that he did not want to hang it up, but his feet were giving him hell with that plantar fasciitis stuff. So, it was great that Chicago honored him. I still feel really weird to see Tony Bradley wearing his number 13. I'm not saying that, I would be totally cool if the Bulls retired Joakim's number just because of what he did here. I know it's not the ultimate goal of a championship, but I mean, what he did for the city, what he continues to do for the city, I should say. It's not what he did, what he continues to
still
do.
Doing it. Yep.
It is just very paramount to me. And the fact that now he's an ambassador along with Kirk Heinrich, which is awesome in itself. There's those two are super close, which I really didn't know that. I think it's really cool that they're super close, but it gives a chance for Joe, like you said, to be here more in the city and work with his foundation more. So I'm a huge Joakim fan. there's a lot of jerseys, man. I don't buy jerseys, like I used to all the time. But then like when I started getting older, like I'm 30 now, and I'm getting like, I just felt weird getting a jersey. I'm like, man, this guy's 21 and he's like a football player, and I'm 30 and I hate my job. So like I just don't get jerseys. But he's like one of the few guys, like, because obviously he's older than me, but I have like a Noah jersey, a Rose jersey, Heinrich and stuff. He's one of the few Bulls players outside of Jordan or Pip that I've ever bought a Bulls jersey for. So I
think me and Johnny B are more the jersey purchasers. I have no control. I just get as many as I possibly can.
I just got too many hats, man.
I'm always,
I got the hats too. I never got the hats too.
Yeah, I definitely become a hat fiend.
People say like, oh, you can't wear a jersey like when you get older, like you said, whenever you turn 30. You know what? Like people are always talking shit anyway about all of us anyway for no reason if they don't know us. So you know what? I'm gonna wear that jersey.
Oh yeah, it's a judgment-free zone, Johnny B. I can't do it.
Speaking of judgment free, and I agree with Johnny B, but fan how you want to fan. I understand the sentiment, but at the same time, I'm a rep. I got a Justin Fields jersey as soon as he got on the team.
I can't do that until he's a legend. Let me rephrase.
That's the Sylvie rule.
Yeah, until they're legends is when I'll buy jerseys.
That's the Mark Silverman rule. But I tell him, you got to live a little. I get it. You don't want to jinx it. We all jinxed it with the Trubisky jerseys, but at the same time, you got to live a little. And like when I was younger, but when I got my Devin Hester jersey, before his rookie year, because I loved him that much when we drafted him. I was proud that I was like the first one wearing it.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he blows up and then everybody's wearing a Devin Hester jersey halfway through his rookie season, I bought his college threads because I was sick of everyone hopping on the Hester bandwagon. I'm like, you guys are late to the party. So you get that once you get it right, you get that prideful chestiness for your guy. So, every once in a while it works out. But speaking of fan, how you want to fan, we got Chubbs in the chat. And he was talking about this a little bit on Twitter, and he was getting irritated with you got your cat. I was wondering what that was.
I thought it was a cat. I would have thought it was a cat. The first.
That's how you know Buzz is a Sox fan, Johnny B, because
Cub
fans would never own a black cat.
I saw the Sox right away. I figured I'd give you a pass because obviously the total heartbreak that you've ensued these last couple of years. And we have a positive future ahead of us, so I didn't say anything.
Johnny B's also the Sox, in-house Sox fan here.
There we go.
But Chubbs wants to know, and this was something that he was getting a little irritated with on Twitter. What are your thoughts with, when the Knicks come back to town, now this rivalry starting to get amped back up, that both teams are good, could potentially play in the playoffs? What are your feelings with Bulls fans still holding on to, their love and admiration for Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson, Tom Thibodeau, but they're the enemy. They're on the other side. They're beating us last night. Derek really put it to us last night. Do you think we need to ease up on throwing the rose petals to their feet, or should we always show these guys respect regardless of the rivalry?
I think that Taj and Tibbs got some respect. I do think that people went obviously, up here for Derek, and they should. That's my opinion. If you don't want to, you don't have to, for sure. But Derrick Rose is a product of Chicago, and how a lot of these people that are from Chicago or, rep the city or whatever, it's Chicago above everything, which means Chicago above the Bulls. This is a Chicago product and Derrick Rose. And, that's why he's cheered. Again, now that he is on the Knicks, it is I hated him more on Detroit because I hate Detroit. I hate the Knicks too, but I hate Detroit even worse. But I still cheered for him even when he was in Detroit because he's from here and he did some special things here. And I feel like it's an exception to the rule a little bit because he just got so screwed. His body failed him, and the fact that he is still in the league and being, doing so well is awesome to me. So, I don't mind cheering Derrick Rose, if he's about to win the game for him, boo the hell out of him. But you go ahead and show that respect every once in a while.
Yeah, it's the first game. It's Joakim Noah night, so there's a lot of emotions in the arena. So, but I guess I'm going to go along with Chubbs as the season progresses and we start getting into serious playoff time. Not that these games aren't serious as well, but when it starts getting down into March and April, if we, end up playing them in the playoffs, no more. I would agree then with Chubbs. The MVP chance for Rose in the playoffs will not be to me that'd be in poor taste.
I don't think that would happen in the playoffs. So
Yeah,
like
I think
said,
Bulls fans are smarter than that.
It's a highly emotional day. It's for Joakim Noah. And I did see that Chubbs put another comment. He goes, "That's BS. Isaiah Thomas is from Chicago. Everybody hates him." That's because Isaiah Thomas is a dick. That's why
he did this to himself.
Yeah, he made himself public enemy number one. Got himself in some legal issues. Became a total D-bag. That's why no one likes Isaiah Thomas. So
he still takes shots.
He still takes shots.
I think it was just, obviously with the everything going on and excitement for the team, and then you had all the hype for number 13 and everything. I think everybody was just feeling it in the stadium and stuff, and I think that'll go away when people like really get into this team as we get another 5 or 10 games down in the season and the snow starts hitting Lakeshore Drive. I think that'll go away. And, you never want somebody like a Derrick Rose or somebody like that. I mean, you don't want to wish, any ill will upon them, and you got to respect them, I believe, but when it comes down to it and it's the, and the clock is ticking, then you can fan all you want, but you still got to respect the guy and what he's done for your city and your game. But I'll tell you a story that a lot of people don't know is obviously Bo Jackson played on the Kansas City Royals and was like a superstar, Bo knows and all that. So then he signs with the hated Raiders, the arch rival of the Chiefs. And when he came to Arrowhead, while he was still playing for the Royals, they booed the hell out of him. There was no Bo knows. It was Bo knows shit. They booed him when he took the field for the Raiders. So that's all I'm going to say.
There you go. Yeah.
Or conversely, when John Starks came from the Knicks to the Bulls,
God.
Bulls fans still booed him.
Well, that's because he was a dick.
Right.
No one liked John Starks.
This is funny. Chicago fans can be fickle that way. So speaking of Chicago fans and being tough on players or teams, we got to talk about them Chicago Bears. I know you might be done going to games as a season ticket holder and you go all the time and you're always in South Lot putting on a good time as you are in all the tailgate lots, whether it be Sox games or Bears games or what have you. But we do got to talk about them at least for a brief moment before we cut you loose. What have been your thoughts here in this season? It's been all over the place. They win some games here early on. Justin Fields gets the QB1 nod. And then all of a sudden here, these last 2 weeks, they get completely shredded by the Packers and the Buccaneers. Where is your headspace at with A, Justin Fields, and then B, more importantly, with Matt Nagy, who's drawn the ire of a lot of Chicago sports fans?
I like Justin Fields. I think he looks good. I think he's got talent in him. I just have no faith in the organization to develop him properly. Basically, that's where I'm at now, guys. Like I sat here and I let myself believe in 2018 with the whole Mitch Trubisky stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, he's a top 12 quarterback. Because, we were just so good in 2018, 12-4. It was, what a magical season it was. But where I sit right now with Justin Fields being on this team and me actually liking Justin Fields, liking the move they made to go get him, I just sit back and I try to remain as open-minded and clear-minded as I possibly can. And I keep finding myself circling back to it's George and Ted's excellent adventure of screwing Bears fans. And whoever they put in charge, whether that's Ryan Pace and then putting Matt Nagy in charge, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This franchise has won Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. It's in 1985. I wasn't even born yet. I took over my dad's season tickets in 2012. They've been mine since. Me and my buddy Juice, Greg, who we go to the games all the time, tailgate in South Lot. These last 2 years, really, obviously 2020 was screwed because of COVID, but even in the middle of 19 and then this year, I have had no drive to even get out to the stadium. The product on the field is just so terrible. You had lightning in a bottle a little bit with that defense, and you fucked around with your offense too much that you couldn't get them on the same damn page to actually do something that mattered. See, this is where I get pissed. This is why I don't talk about the Bears on tap. I get so mad. I ramble. I don't make sense anymore. I get so irritated because you had this opportunity and you blew it. And now you draft this kid with tons of potential. You get a lineman with a broken back. Spare me. Oh, he's a great kid. It'll work out. Well, yeah, that's great. Justin Fields hasn't even started every game. He leads the freaking league in getting sacked because his line sucks. The play calling was atrocious, and everybody's like, "Oh, we want Bill Lazor to call plays." It's like that, dude. That's like they're two halves of one idiot, dude. They make one idiot. It's all bad. It's just all bad around. Matt Nagy is a great talker, and I'll admit to you, Greg, he fooled me in the beginning. I thought this guy, well-spoken, Andy Reid coaching tree. Screw that coaching tree, by the way. It seems like everybody gets screwed off of that thing besides McVay, and Peterson got the Super Bowl in Philly, but then he ended up getting fired.
The leaves are falling off these branches.
So it's just like I go on these long rants. I'm sorry to get so winded.
No,
it's just like,
this is what we do.
I get so pissed off because, man, there's talent. And then people have you ever heard people say the Bears are cheap? No, they're not cheap. They're just stupid. They don't know where to put, they don't know how to build a proper team. It's not that they're cheap. They're dumb. And that's where we're at right now, man. Like Nagy, he's got to go, but who are you trusting in hiring another coach? Is it going to be Pace? Is that what we're going to do with? Because, he's had a couple good draft picks, guys. Okay, great. He's blown every opportunity so far to get to where we need to go along with Matt Nagy. And then when you're like, we need a new GM too. Got to get a new GM. George says he's not a football guy.
Right.
Then you have Ted, who's a finance guy. That's why people like Ted Phillips. You know why? Because he's a good finance guy. Well, guess that does shit for us. They're taking my finance. They're taking my money. Yeah. And they're not doing anything with it. So right now I'm so over it, dude. Like of course I'm going to watch them every Sunday. I'm going to put myself through hell because that's just what I do. I can't wrap my head around, Greg and Johnny, if they're going to make this guy Justin Fields good, or are they going to ruin this fucking kid? That's what's
I'm terrified they're going to ruin him.
That's my concern because it's a matter of time before these Wolves at Soldier Field, and I'll call them Wolves. I'm a part of the Wolves group a little bit here and there. I think now I'm getting older. I see, and I stopped drinking craft beers and just Miller Lite. I see more light, but like I can see him not performing well because of the circumstances surrounding him and him being turned on and then his confidence dropping. Yep. I could see that he's not going to be surrounded with the tools that he needs to succeed. And I don't care how elite of a quarterback you are. If you don't have the tools around you to succeed, you're not going to do great things. And that's just kind of where I'm at with them. I don't think they're going to be shit.
Body language and things that I see from him, and I feel like he already does not have the confidence in the coaching staff for his development. I feel like, when I look at him and some of his body language and posture when he's, coming off the field or he's, on the bench, it just looks like that he's thinking like, oh my God, please let them get somebody else in here to help me, down the road next year. Cause arguably he knows he's there for 5 years, if he's talented enough, the 4 years plus the 5th-year option is a first rounder. And I'm from an outsider looking in, being around Chicago sports my whole life. And obviously, I was a little kid when the Bears won, and I do remember that, but it's like, I know this is a football town and you're just starving for somebody with knowledge to put a few of the puzzle pieces together in the right spot. It doesn't even have to be a whole puzzle right away. And that some great things could happen with some talented players. And the fans are going to soak that up. Like you said, in 2018, how everything felt so great. It didn't take long for that fan base to get hyped up. And you saw that when it comes down to it, Chicago is a knowledgeable sports town. And it is a football town. And it's a crime that is what's on the field right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Johnny B. And you're right, Buzz. It's like you worry that Nagy and company are going to ruin him. And you don't compare him to Mitchell Trubisky, but you compare him to who he's having to learn from. And while Justin has a higher pedigree of talent, it's the same situation. And Johnny B will be the first to tell you now, with Patrick Mahomes, and they got undressed by Tom Brady and the Bucs in the Super Bowl, not to open up old wounds. And now you're seeing this year more problems occurring, and Patrick can't cure it all. And he's the top talent at quarterback in the league.
He's shook, dude. He's shook, and he's not
right
in pocket. He's forcing. And then when the throw is there, he's hesitant. It's unreal.
And that's a
every
all-pro $500 million quarterback.
You've never seen anything like that from him. And
every bad luck thing that can happen.
That just goes to show you what can
happen quick. You know, it can happen quick.
And that's a $500 million quarterback. We're talking about our rookie quarterback in his 5th game. And so you do worry that it's going to get to a point where now all of a sudden you're going to hear the same. You're already hearing, from some people, he can't read a defense.
It's just so ignorant.
And you can't. How can you diagnose a player when the system is broken? And across the league, all the experts and people that know a hell of a lot more than I do will tell you, like, the system he's running is broken. And so how do you expect him to flourish within that? And I know a lot of fans will be like, well, you're the one that said he should play. Well, I said this to Ryan Pace to his face himself at camp, give this guy QB1 reps at camp and in preseason. And maybe it wouldn't have been the end-all be-all when the season started, but you're hearing all these echoes of these players saying now in the pressers, well, we're just now getting to know each other and learn what we like to. Well, those are things you work out in the preseason. Now, the Patriots aren't going to a Super Bowl either, and obviously they're a much better run organization, but you can already see Mac Jones has more comfortability in what he's trying to do to move the chains, and Justin Fields is just scrambling and just trying to figure it out.
He's got 2 seconds to throw the ball.
Right.
Mac Jones is in every game.
And you know what? They put a right tackle out there that doesn't have experience there and just gets thrown into it because of injury. But it's also on the coaches to not move an extra blocker over to that side. So it's talent, but also the combination of lack of talent and coaching deficiency. Because I promise you, and I'm at the point where I can pretty much guarantee it, I wasn't so sure when it was with Mitch because people could get in my head and I could start to believe like, yeah, Mitch isn't a great quarterback. Who knows what he'll be going forward in his future? Not good enough was the answer. But now that he's out of the equation and you're seeing the same issues, I know for a fact that it's Matt Nagy and his crap. That's why I beat the drum, fire Matt Nagy or we riot. We're making shirts over here over it because I'm certain that any other competent coach could take the exact same talent they have on this team and at least make them move the ball and show some competence.
Listen, everything you just said about Mitch, I agree with. Okay. I was not a Mitch stan, right? I'm not a Mitch stan. I'll never be a Mitch stan. I thought that he was good. I thought that he could be a top 15, top 12 kind of guy. And he had the physical tools to do it. Okay. In the first few games of 2018, when he was able to kind of do his thing before Nagy went full like Andy Reid offense, baby, like this is what we're doing, he did all right. Okay. And then when that system started to get implemented and no one wants to take this into account because everybody thinks that athletes are like, Madden characters with no personalities or anything like that. They're just, an athlete. It fucked with his psyche a little bit, I think. And it really messed with him. Not saying that he had it in between the ears to do it in the first place, but that did not help. Nagy is doing the same thing with Justin Fields. I do think that Justin Fields is way more talented. I feel like he's got a little bit more tougher, thick skin than Mitch does. But Nagy's a huge problem to all of this. And I do feel in my heart that Nagy held us back in 2019 when our defense was still halfway decent. It wasn't as good as it was in 2018, as we all know. But to be an actual decent competitive team. And again, where I say I'm worried about Justin is if they don't get this kid protected and they keep trotting Nagy out there to do his shit, this rookie year is going to be scarring, and it's going to take a while to get over that. I really think that's the case.
Yeah, if George McCaskey doesn't have the onions this year to let him go with your franchise quarterback's future and career here at stake, he's really making a big mistake going into next year, rolling the dice into Nagy's last year. You never want to coach in his, what do they call it? Lame duck season, and you don't know, you can't guarantee anything going in. You might as well start fresh with a new coach. And then, if you want to get rid of the GM too, that's a whole nother discussion. I can agree with the clean slate mentality, but I could also make an argument that Ryan Pace brought Justin Fields here and has done some things right. I think that's a conversation for another day. At the end of the day, I do think that Matt Nagy, they need to move on from him and consider some of these guys.
To do offense, you're scoring no points.
Bingo.
That's all you need to do. I don't care.
And the 2 times they've given up the playbook, they've slightly improved.
I don't know. I don't care who you put back there at quarterback on any team. If you have 1.8 to 2.2 seconds to throw the ball, and it's a revolving door turnstile. It doesn't matter who it is. It really does not matter who it is. I don't care if it's, Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if it's Matt Stafford. Obviously, we see what Matt Stafford is doing now with a team that actually knows how to coach and knows how to win and block.
I think everybody saw that coming. At least in the NFC North, who's played Stafford. Stafford is a bad dude. He's a very good quarterback.
No doubt.
Now he's got talent around him, real talent, and he's not in I hope someone listens to this.
Football purgatory.
Yeah, football. That's exactly what I was going to say. Football hell, football purgatory in Detroit. Yeah. But yeah, you again, it all comes down to this, guys. You don't have the talent around you, surrounding you to be successful, at least competent talent. I'm not even saying all pro, just competent talent.
Like solid NFL starters.
Right. Then you're screwed. And that's exactly what we're seeing with our rookie quarterback right now. Screwed. 22 times he's been sacked this year. 22 times. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They're going to get that kid hurt.
And quickly, I know we've taken up a lot of your time. You've been great here tonight, Buzz. I appreciate you coming on and want you to come on more.
Absolutely.
We're kind of scattered with the way we schedule our shows. We don't do them. We don't have a schedule. Chubbs gives me shit. We just do them when we can. Between me and Johnny B's schedule. So I appreciate you coming on short notice. But being a fan in the stands, and that's what this show is all about.
Yeah.
The fans in the stands. You are someone that goes to the games a lot, and whether it be Sox games, Bulls games, Bears games, you are a diehard season ticket holder of the Bears. And now there's the whole talk of them moving to Arlington Heights. What are your thoughts with the potential move? Do you have a pros and cons list? Your overall, overhead viewpoint on this.
I hate change. So even when my wife moves the furniture like she did today, I thought I was going to pass out. I couldn't handle it, man. I had to crack a beer right away. I'm like, I'll crack them. Got to drink beer real quick. No, listen, man, if they do Arlington right, I think it'll be really cool. I think it'll be beneficial for season ticket holders too. I'm talking, I want a sports book. I want some cool hotels around there. Not that I would stay in one. I don't really have to. You just drive back home, But I think they have a really cool chance to do something fun. Maybe get Final Fours there. How exciting would that be? That'd be really cool. Because Greg, I know you like college basketball. I love college basketball. Yep. So, I think that'd be really, really cool to go do something like that. But
even like college football finals, something.
Yeah, something. Yeah,
Big Ten championship.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's an endless amount of things they could do, endless opportunities.
WrestleMania.
Oh, dude, that'd be dope, wouldn't it? I definitely hit that up. I keep that wrestling back in my heart because I grew up on it. I don't really watch as much as I used to.
Same.
But, I still keep up here and there with it just because I have to, because when I was a kid I loved it. But I think I'd be heartbroken though. I'm be 100% honest with you. Listen, Soldier Field sucks to get to. Sometimes what we usually take, what is that? 90. We get a 90. We get off at Lakeshore, and then we just stack that South Lot entrance. To get into South Lot, we stack that all the way back, so they can't help but let us in because we're shutting down Lakeshore, drinking beer on the bridge.
Yeah.
I'm that's always a fun memory, and just being in Soldier Field is a fun memory. But
yeah.
I think it'd be beneficial for the Bears to move to Arlington for sure.
If they did it right, as you said.
If they did it right, they have to do it right.
They renovated Soldier Field already, and they, a lot of fans would say they did it wrong. I like Soldier Field,
I like Soldier Field,
but it's our house too. We're used to being there. You
might be biased, just like I am. When people are like,
once you get to know all the nooks and crannies and know where to go, and that's, I think, where you're at with it. I know exactly where I'm going, what I'm doing.
Right.
For other people, it might be a headache because they don't know what's going on, and they can get lost in the, it looks like a freaking prison when you first walk in, with all the concrete, and the renovations that way, and then the parking lots. But I know what I'm doing. So it's not an inconvenience for me because I got all my itinerary down to make sure it's a great day. But some fans that only go once a year or whatever, they might not have that. So I get it, but if they did it right, if they do what they did in LA or if they do what they did in Las Vegas, don't sell us short when we're the third largest market in the country. It should absolutely be every bit of what SoFi Stadium and that, or area in general is, have a hotel, have a sports book, have huge parking lots like they have in Kansas City so we can tailgate, easily and get to the stadium inside. You have a lot of gates to get in for fans, so we're not stuffing into Southgate like we do every week.
Right.
And taking 45 minutes to get in to your, into the gate as I have some kind of like camera.
See, you need to do what we park in South Lot, but we walk to the north end zone entrance and we get in like that every time we do that. But it's just like I said, man, it's just like, when I was a young kid, I lived before we got to where I'm at now, and I don't care. The internet knows I'm in New Lenox now. I've been there for a long time, but I grew up in Blue Island, and God damn it, Greg, we lived in a 1-bedroom trailer, me and my dad, after my mom was gone or whatever. And we didn't have air conditioning, but we had Bulls and Bears season tickets, man. And like, that is just the most OG coolest shit ever. My dad had priorities, right? But Soldier Field was something that he brought me to all the time. So that's why I am so hard to have this conversation with, is just like you. I know where the hell I'm going as soon as I get there. I know where I'm parking. I know how I'm getting in. I know what bathrooms to hit, so I'm not standing in line for 45 minutes. Like, I know all of that stuff.
And like Chubb said, I mean, and I totally agree. There's nothing you can do about concessions or bathroom. I do not go to the bathroom during the game.
Neither do I.
You'll miss the game. Even if you go right when halftime starts, you will not be back unless you beat the race to the bathroom line. You will not be back to your seat until halfway through the third quarter.
Right. So we just get so, like, dude, in South Lot, like, literally, we usually bring a 12-pack and we'll kill that in South, like a person, and we'll kill that before we go in. So then I don't have to buy the 10.50 beer. But we eat too, because we make really great food. We make slabs of ribs or whatever. We eat before we go in. So we're stuffed, we're buzzed. We go into the game. We take the game in its entirety. We don't get up, and then we leave. Like, that's just kind of our thing. So, like I said, if they do it right in Arlington, I'll be cool with it. I'll still be upset either way because I love Soldier Field so much, but I wouldn't be mad if they stayed either.
Okay. Definitely wanted to get your thoughts on that before we cut you loose. Buzz, really appreciate all your time. Well over an hour here of talking Bulls and Bears. Why don't you tell everybody that's tuning in right now where they can find you in the work you do, because you do a great job with On Tap Sportsnet.
Well, thanks for having me, first of all, man. I really appreciate it. It was awesome to be on. You can find me at Buzz on Tap on Twitter. I'm on the Sox podcast, White Sox podcast, at Sox on Tap. I'm on the Bulls podcast at Bulls on Tap. And you can find us over at ontapsportsnet.com. A lot of unique written content over there from our staff. Podcasts that we do, especially now during the Bulls season, and even with the Bears. Bears do a post game after every single game. They do 3 podcasts a week over at the Bears section, and then the Bulls podcast that I'm a part of, we're a post game show. We do a post game after every single episode, and we'll just kind of talk and shoot the shit from there. So that's where you can find me at.
Cool. Well, you do tremendous work, Buzz. I was very impressed. I watched your post game show from the other night after the Bulls lost last night. And you kept the post-game show to 30 minutes, and that is an art form that I have yet to figure out, because as you can see here,
30 minutes, Greg. Come on, your intro.
That's impossible for me. My intro is 30 minutes long.
Yeah, you got to get it down to an exact science, man, of like, like I'm really tired because I have the day job, and I'm going to do a half-hour show here, fit everything that I possibly can into it. Hopefully it didn't suck, but I'm going to go to bed now. Like, it's basically how it kind of rolls out on the weekdays. So
yeah, I got to learn.
Greg has this problem, as you can tell already, of saying goodbye. He feels like, I think it's like goodbye forever. It's not goodbye, Greg. It's until next time.
All right. Until next time. And, we're getting all the baseball comments in the chat. Next time we'll have to talk a little Cubs and Sox, because I know we have some opinions there. But I feel I won't hit you with them because that was tough. Johnny B's a Sox fan.
Greg says we're going to do this Cubs Sox thing all season long. And then he doesn't. I have all these great stories, and I didn't get to tell any of them because he never does it, because the Cubs were sucking.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. I was also very busy this summer. And then, we do got to get into it because I'd like for you guys to retire the L flag next year. But that's a conversation for another day. Buzz, we certainly love to bring you back because you are a plethora of Chicago sports knowledge and fandom. And that's what we're all about here is the true fans of Chicago. And you certainly are one of them.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, anytime you want me to come on or you want to come and chop it up with us on a Bulls post game, just let me know, man. Yeah, just let me know. Like that's how we, like you said, you kind of just fly by the seat. Hey, this is what we're gonna do tonight. It's exactly how we are.
I got a 3-year-old at home, so
3 and a 1-year-old, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you know what's going on, and then between me and Johnny B going to a million games, we're fly by nights over here.
I feel
doing our thing, but I appreciate it. I absolutely will take you up on that because I enjoyed the conversation very much here tonight. Look forward to finally meeting you in person, and I'll be buying first round for sure.
Oh yes, sir. Well, don't do that because I'm gonna hit the top shelf if someone's buying for me.
That's so, right. Yeah, you can't crack open a Jack and Coke, but we can certainly down one, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that is Buzz.
Brother.
Have a good night, guys.
That's right. That is Brad Squires, aka Buzz. Buzz on Tap. Find him on Twitter, the On Tap Sportsnet. Did a great job. Everybody in the chat was very nice, except for Big Dollar Dave, who was making fun of his beard. We didn't bring it up. I didn't want to put him on the spot, but damn.
Big Dollar Dave, why is he so hostile today, man?
Well, that's the thing. Big Dollar Dave is always hostile, so you'll get to know him. What's nice about the chat is they kind of, they police themselves, and everyone kind of knows at some point Dave's going to come guns a-blazing. He'll come guns a-blazing on you at some point.
Oh, dude, but I got a lot of haters and a lot of people that love me, so I really don't care. It's great.
It's okay, Dollar Dave. We're used to you, but when we have new guests, they got to get used to you too. But we want everyone to be authentic, whether you're on the show or in the chat, and everyone's here pretty authentic, I would say. And Taco Grease said he wants to be the next guest next week. I'll tell you what, Taco Grease, since you're the big Purdue guy for the next Purdue show, if you want to join and be a part of the Purdue conversation. I mean, anybody's welcome whenever they want, but, these shows are supposed to be at least under 2 hours. So, with that being said, we're going to roll on to our next segment. But before we do, we got to hit up our guys over at Fan Bags all day long. Our sponsors always get a good shout out after we get done with our interview. And that was one hell of an interview with our guy, Brad Squires, but they all call him Buzz, aka Buzz on Tap. So that Buzz on Tap interview was brought to you by Fanbags Cornhole, Chicago's official supplier of professional cornhole boards and bags. Choose from any of their officially licensed designs or have my boy Brian design a custom set using anything from a selfie to your company's logo. I'm trying to do two things at once. Visit www.fanbagscornhole.com and use the promo code BRAGS to get 10% off your entire order. That's www.fanbagscornhole.com and use the promo code BRAGS for 10% off. Step up your game with Fanbags Cornhole. That's right. Yeah. I am Cornholio.
Cornholio.
I was really Cornholio in that as I butchered my way through that read as I was trying to find the running board at the bottom. I always try to put that up first, and then sometimes I forget. So this is the stuff that you have to deal with here on Brags in the Stands. I'm doing a juggling act here, trying to make everything look nice and professional and doing my thing, but I can only do so much, and I've got an ADHD problem. That's the other problem.
I don't know how you do that every day with that.
I deal with it every day,
right?
Every day, got to deal with it. Oh, but my wife has to deal with it more than I do. So that's right. Ghost Rider, www.fanbagscornhole.com. Bag alert, as Derek would say.
A little help from the chat.
Yeah, you got to love the chat. We're going to get Trey back on here as soon as we can. I don't think he's going to be able to pop in tonight. He's busy. Won't respond my text, so I'm worried sick now. But, before we get into our next segment, I do want to shout out my other sponsors here at the Collector's Cave. You see them over my shoulder. They got some big signings coming up. But, beyond that, if you want to find any of your sports memorabilia needs, visit www.thecollectorscave.com, and you can find those sports memorabilia stuff on their website. But also be on the lookout for their public signings and meet and greets with your favorite Chicago sports athletes, including coming up here on Sunday, November 7th from 12 to 1:30 Central Time, an NFL watch party and public autograph signing with the Thomas Jones, Chicago Bears running back, legend, and now Hollywood superstar. You saw him in Straight Outta Compton. He's in all sorts of TV shows and everything else. And you can have a chance to meet him at Sovereign Restaurant at 24216 West Lockport Street in Plainfield, Illinois. I will be there doing a live show for Brags in the Stands. Johnny B, you are always welcome, but I know it's on a football Sunday.
I will be doing something that the Bears did not do this year that day. Beat Aaron Rodgers, baby. Let's go.
Well, we'll all be rooting you on that day as you take on the Green Bay Packers. My hope, and Trey Tunes and I have talked about this here in the chat, but the idea is that me and Trey will be doing that live show at Sovereign on Lockport Street. So I hope everybody in the chat can come and support the show and have a chance to meet Thomas Jones. There's a very good chance that he's going to be our first ever live guest.
You're going to do that when I'm not there?
Well, it's just the luck of the draw because, our last two opportunities where we did a live show with Jim McMahon, as you see over my shoulder, the signed jersey and the picture of me and you and Addie toughing the elements out with the Tornadoes. That was our first public signing. And then we did the live show for the Dan Hampton public signing for the Collector's Cave. And both those guys were way too busy to, be able to pop on our silly little podcast here. So, no offense taken. Understand they got business to take care of, but I think there's a good chance that Thomas Jones will pop on. I have a gift for him. We've got some new hoodies in our store, and I will be giving one of these bad boys to Thomas Jones. He requested one personally, and I will be hand delivering this hoodie to him. So I'm hoping that the gift exchange in return is maybe a few minutes of his time when he does his public signing. So we shall see. Yes, Jake has done some big time stuff here at Brags in the Stands lately. None better than this Bear TF, aka Bear the Fuck Down sweatshirt. You can get it in shirts, you can get it in hoodies. Just a badass design. I'll be rocking one this Sunday, Halloween, on the lakefront at Soldier Field. Really excited for that. And the other public signing, as I continue to ramble on, and I promise we're going to get to Johnny B for 3, is the next public autograph signing. And Johnny may be able to be in attendance for this one on Saturday, November 13th, back at Catch Table and Tap, where we started our first ever live show. Will be a duo of Aramis Ramirez and Miguel Montero. That will be at Catch 22 Table and Tap, 500 East 81st Avenue, Maryville, Indiana. Order your tickets at www.thecollectorcave.com, and you could be a part of coming. You can just come to the show if you want. I think the plan for that one, Johnny B, is to do the show before the autograph signings take place as opposed to during. So if you want to see us do our live show that day, it's probably going to be in the morning prior, from 11 a.m. to 12, and then
early lunch.
Yeah, early lunch. Have some drinks after we're done, because then Miguel Montero starts from 12 to 1:30, and then Aramis Ramirez from 2 to 3:30. So it's going to be a long day at Catch Table and Tap with some legendary Cubs players. And I know there's going to be a bunch of Cubs fans showing up for that one. And Brags in the Stands will be in attendance back-to-back weeks of live shows. So a little pressure to pull these off, but we're going to do our best to finally hit our live show home run. So That's right. Brags alert. Major Brags alert.
There you go.
Yeah, I like Derek throwing in these little puns, rap puns here or whatever, parodies. So that's good. So that's it for the sponsors of our show. Got to give those guys a shout out. So let's move on to our next segment, and it's the segment everybody's always waiting for here on this show, because Johnny B always wants to make you some money from your couch on your football Sundays, and he always does exactly that in Johnny B for 3.
Mitch Oltis, voice of the Chiefs here, and you're with Johnny B for 3. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Wow, how about
Have
that?
Johnny, do it with me.
How about all right? So I'm gonna get off the screen now, and you're gonna give him the countdown, Johnny. All right, so I'm on.
All right, this is for real now. That was the practice. Are you ready?
Here we go. Belt it out on 3. 1, 2, 3. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Woo!
See all of you at Arrowhead. Let's go.
All
Super
right,
Bowl
thanks, Mitch.
56 in
Appreciate you,
Andy
buddy.
Reid's hometown of LA. We're going.
Let's go. Well,
There
I don't
it
know
is.
about Super Bowl 56 in Andy Reid's hometown, but that was a fabulous day in an interview. Now, let's get into it. Johnny B for 3. We've been a little bit, with the show kind of going and not going, and Greg's at the game, I'm at the game. But if you take the picks from the show and the picks that I give out on the internet, and some of you even contact me, call me, DM me, we're looking at a 61% clip winning, a little bit low, but this season is still young. We got the extra game, so let's try to improve on that 61% and make a little bit extra money today. And let's get into this week's Johnny B for 3. You know what they say out there, winners win and losers lose. So I'm going to do the parlay tease for my number 1 pick, taking the Bengals. I mean, they just dismantled the Ravens. I'm not even sure how the Bears beat them, but you know what? The defense played good, and they did. I'm going to take the Bengals minus 6.5. Put that with Matt Stafford and the Rams minus 6.5 together. And they're playing some bad teams, and you get a plus 100. So that's pretty good little odds there for a couple of heavy favorites this week. We're going to go number 2, pick of the week. This could be maybe one Chubbs would be thinking about for an upset special. I'm going to take the points, so I'm going to take the Patriots plus 5 against the Chargers. The defense is playing great. They can run the ball. They can control the clock. And I'm not saying the Patriots are going to win this game. They might, but I'm going to take the Patriots at plus 5 at minus 115 for my second pick of the weekend. They say defense wins championships, so we'll see in that game right there. And then the number 3 pick, I think this is easy money here. This could have been my number 1 pick, but he's the deep threat. He's Tyreek Hill. He's been kind of hot and cold this year, but there's a bet out there. It's a prop bet. 1 reception, over 24.5 yards. Just 1, that's all you need. Over 24.5 yards. It's a medium catch for Tyreek, and it's minus 115. That's the 3 picks, 1, 2, and 3 for Johnny B for 3. Let's make that money.
That's right. Johnny B for 3 is I'm getting a little bit of an echo. I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Are you hearing an echo?
0 echo.
Testing. Jesus. I'm hearing an echo now. I don't know what's going on here. You know what? I'm gonna come out and then I'm gonna come back in. Johnny, you take it over from here. I'll be right back.
All right, I'm taking it over. Greg is going to drop out for a second and then come back in, and we'll see if the echo is gone. I'm pretty sure his internet is pretty down. So I don't know, Chubbs, what's the upset pick of the week? I really don't consider you picking against the Chiefs. We haven't been playing well and upset. I know Vegas still believes that we're going to score 30 points a game, but we're not. We've only covered the spread, I think, 2 times this year, so that's 2 and 5 against the spread. So I'm not sure the Chiefs covering as underdogs or favorites on the road is an upset special. But, hey, Vegas said it was, so I got to give it to you.
That's right. So the echo is now gone, thank God. So to go back over it, you got the parlay tees, Bengals, 6. You say it better than
Bengals me. Minus 6.5. Put it with the Rams minus 6.5. You're getting plus 100 odds. Basically, $100 bet is going to win you $100 profit. So there's no negative juice on that one. And I think those are both potential 10-plus point wins for both of those teams. The Patriots, they're playing well. I mean, they probably should have beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in that game in the rain. I like the way the defense is playing. Mac Jones is obviously getting coached by Bill Belichick. They're in every game. Every game they're either winning or it's close. So I'm going to take the Patriots against the Chargers, who got beat by the Ravens really bad. Herbert looked kind of human, and they've had a week to kind of think about it. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. So I'm going to take the Patriots plus the 5 points, minus 115 on the road. And this one right here, just like a prop bet. I was going through all the prop bets. One catch, that's all you need. A reception over 24.5 yards for Tyreek Hill.
Easy.
I mean, he's due for a big game here. That's kind of how he's been, like a good game, an okay game, a good game, an okay game. And he's definitely due for a big game. I think he's going to have a 50-yard touchdown early in the game on Monday Night Football, and that's going to cash maybe in the first quarter. So I like all three of those bets this week. And like I said, we're rolling out at 61% win rate, which is still good. You're still profit, but we got to get that up towards 69%. And that's what I like to be at, 69%, 68% and above. So hopefully we can get all three of those this week and then pump those numbers up big time.
And hopefully my damn echo will go away, but I don't know what's going on with it. If it keeps acting up,
it doesn't sound too bad on my end.
Yeah, I don't. It's being touchy. I'm hoping my mic isn't blown or something, but it's slight now. I can hear it. It's pissing me off. If it continues, we're gonna end it as soon as I can. I know that the listeners can hear it. I can see it in the chat. People talking about it. So who knows? I've had a lot of hurdles to overcome with the damn internet. So here he is, Trey Tunes in the chat. Why don't you join us, Trey? Why don't you hop in? People don't want to hear my ass rambling. They want to hear your beautiful voice and face and loving charisma. They want to
face.
Yeah, his everything. He's just filled with love, and we all want Trey Tunes here. People come for Braggs and Johnny B, but all these people in the chat, we love us some Trey Tunes, and when we don't get our Trey Tunes fix, we honestly kind of freak out a little bit.
And I'm sorry,
there it is. There's the dance moves. Trey and I will be going to the game on Sunday. Bears 49ers on the lakefront. He better be wearing a costume when I pick him up. This is all I know. He's not happy with the dancing video, but
I need a video of you dancing like that so we can play Trey Tunes.
Shit, I got the moves, kid. I got the moves like Jagga. Yeah. So Big Dollar Dave, that is hot. His dance moves are hot. So don't hate Trey just because it's a great moment. Just live it and bring it in and don't fight it. But Trey and I will be at the game on Sunday. You better be wearing a costume. It's Halloween, Trey. You better figure something out. I'm going to have a costume on Sunday. I'd be happy to do a dance video so we can have a Braggs dance video for the show, but I think people just enjoy Trey's dance moves. I mean, they're just so good.
I think you got to find two of the hottest babes in the stadium and just do like Greg hits the club with them.
Well, the Vegas trip is over, so the fun times, dancing with
it's never over, Greg. It's never over until next time. How many times I got to tell you that?
So that's the big question, Pat, because I did tell Trey's got your number, so he was supposed to reach out to you and ask you if you are going to be at the game on Sunday, because we did tailgate with Pat Black, the infamous Pat Black. Finally got to meet him in person with his loving son Christopher. We went to their tailgate and hung out. So I'd love to be able to come by where me and Trey will be in South Lot. Got a couple friends that are going to be in South Lot as well. Maybe we'll go say hi to, but would like to come over to your tailgate again and hang out and share some laughs. I'm going to be wearing a costume. So hopefully you're around and there. So Trey's going to have the whiskey ready. He was getting that whiskey in for the last tailgate. He didn't go to the game. He just drank at the tailgate with me. He doesn't live too far from South Lot. So Pat Black officially will be there So we will be there as well. Trey and myself and Christopher Black and Pat Black going to be sharing some more good times in South Lot. So if you're there, come find us. Certainly looking forward to hanging out with you again, Pat. So that's on the agenda. Tomorrow for me is the housewarming party. Going to have some family and friends over, hanging out. It's Halloween weekend. I will be having a costume. I'm not going to spoil what I'm wearing just yet, but Addison was trying on some different things, Johnny B. I don't know if you caught these. Did you see these costumes? I put them on.
No, I did not.
So what do you think of these? Because Addison is a Halloween-aholic. She is not afraid of any of this stuff. We go to a Halloween store. She's wearing all these crazy masks. Which one is your favorite?
I like. Okay, that one's pretty cool. I think I like. Yeah, I think I like the zombie with the.
Well, hold on. What about this one?
No.
How about the little boots sticking out of
The boots
this?
are funny.
The guts coming out, and she's not afraid of any of this stuff. This is what blows my mind. So this one's your favorite?
No, the zombie with the black hair and the green face.
This is actually a mask from Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, that's my favorite on her.
Yeah, when the zombies are coming out of the grave, this is one of them.
Yeah.
So this is actually a Hocus Pocus mask. You like that one the most? I don't know. I think mine is either this one because of how ridiculous it is, and her fingers can barely stick out of it, and her boot, all you see is her boots. And then this one just blows my mind that she's not afraid of any of this stuff.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I wonder if someone like popped out of the bushes at night wearing it though.
We bought one of the freaky ones just for that reason alone. This one's hilarious with her tongue sticking out. Like, it's just insane. And then so she had a Halloween day at school, and we made her dress nicely for that. We didn't want to terrify the kids at school, but she's just undeterred by this. She
elephant suit from Karate Kid, man.
Yeah, she just sees this stuff, and yes, I agree, Big Dollar David. It's just creepy. I see her wearing these masks, and it just blows. I'm like, whose child is this?
Look at this smile next to the lady.
I know. So we take her. That's one of the yards that has really cool Halloween presentation. She wants to see it every year. And this thing will scare the living daylights out of you at night. And there she is, smiling like it's like she's watching Tots or something, one of her shows. But she is just so happy around Halloween time. So I'm looking forward to her excitement and everything. I'm a lucky dad, no doubt about it, Pat. She's very cute, but she's crazy and she loves this stuff. We actually went around to see some of the setups. We've been driving around. We call it zombie hunting. And we drive around, and she's like, where are the blow-ups? Because all these people have these blow-ups in their front yards. We came across this house, Johnny B. This was in this person's garage.
Is that real pumpkins?
See, now this is as close as I got because it was nighttime and no one was outside. So I didn't want to, infiltrate their garage. They did have it like open as like a presentation. So almost inviting in a way, but I didn't want to get shot. So I just took a picture, but it's right behind my house. So I'll be going there for Halloween night for trick-or-treating. And that's the first thing I want to find out. If these are real pumpkins, this is an all-time great setup. I mean, even if they're not real pumpkins, it's definitely very cool.
Well, they carved all those, though.
But if they carved all those, I'm with you, Johnny B. This is like next level Halloween. I mean, you should see the outside of the house. They build like a fake facade across their whole house to make it look like this like castle thing. I should have entered it into the log, but all I did was enter the garage. It's insane. I'll share some pictures next week if it ends up indeed being a real deal thing. But
coming over tomorrow for a little bit.
All right, cool. I unfortunately have some bad news. Adam cannot make it. Drop the hammer on us. Adam, our neighbor from the mean streets of Aspen Trail. He's got a job that he normally works on the weekend, and he had called off, but unfortunately, Johnny B. Adams, the person that called off, or that he was able to call off, and the person that was going to take over for him, got COVID. So now he has to work in place of that person. So, yeah, definitely disappointing. But hopefully you and Abby come by and hang out. And Addie will be in some scary costume. I'm going to be wearing a costume as well, but I don't want to spoil it. I'll reveal it tomorrow. It's going to be really funny. So look, I got a costume for tomorrow and I got a costume for the game.
So these are different costumes.
Different costumes. One for tomorrow, one
Is
for the
one
game.
of them the elves from Christmas that brought you the presents?
Yeah. So no elves. Yeah.
Is it Blitzen or one of those reindeer or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Look at already we're not even in Christmas season. And we're taking the Christmas.
What do you think the reindeer are going to bring you this year?
I'm looking forward to it personally. Hopefully, it's some Purdue swag or Bull swag. I don't want no Bear stuff this year. But we haven't even gotten through Halloween or Thanksgiving, so no Christmas talk. We got this Christmas talk going on in the chat too. It's not Christmas yet, people.
I think they know, dude. The elves are getting ready for you.
Yeah, Chubb says I'm gonna be my nemesis, Cars. Now I don't want to scare the kids. Okay, so I'm not gonna be Cars. That'd be too scary. That's terrifying in and of itself. So no Cars, but yeah, I'm looking forward to greeting everyone tomorrow in my costume. Hey, whatever it takes to get some quality presents, Chubbs.
What's the janitor's name at the North Pole? Like, what did he get you last year?
The janitor's name is Fuck You. And Trey Toon says he's going to be giving out participation trophies for Christmas. Him and Will, for all the girls and boys, will be giving out participation. He was in the chat for half a millisecond, had to put in his stupid score prediction like any of us give a crap.
I didn't see it. What was it?
He had the Bears losing. I actually, I don't like to steal the thunder of the Midway Minute where I enter my picks as an expert pick, the experts picking, but I'm just the fan in the stands along with the experts. But I'm actually 5-1 picking the Bears this season, which is pretty good for an unpredictable ball club. And the only game I got wrong was the Cleveland game, betting with my heart. Justin Fields' first career start.
Just to let you know, I did not bet on the Chiefs last week, and I was there.
Yeah.
So I did not bet with my heart. So even though that was a dreadful game to watch, even though the weather was great and I had met a lot of friends and the hangout was awesome, I did not put my hard-earned money on that game.
Yeah, I mean, even in your Johnny B for 3, you've been consistently picking Mahomes touchdowns. You steered away from that this week.
Yeah, I mean, at 4-2, on that for this year, and I steered away from it. I do think he's going to hit it this week. I might bet it on my own, even in a little parlay or something with something else, but I'm not going to put it as my official picks. I do like the Tyreek Hill bet a lot better with just one little, even a little flip pass that he runs 25 yards. He's so fast. But it is what it is, man. You just got to keep grinding, man.
Trey says he's 7-0 picking the Bears. So they played 7 games. So I'm 6-1, not 5-1. So I did pick the Bears to win in the Midway Minute. That'll be out on Sunday morning. Pick the Bears to win 21-17. I put even in my caption, I'm going against my better judgment here. No Khalil Mack. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I am interested. Huh?
Quinn back?
Quinn is back. Larry Borum could potentially start at right tackle, the rookie who showed some promise before he got injured, but a rookie. So you can't overstate that too much, but maybe could give a lift, coming into that offensive line. Certainly after last week with Latavius Simmons, like the 5th string tackle comes in there and is getting his doors blown off each play. So I picked the Bears to win. Maybe I'm going against my better judgment here. But it's at home. They play better at home. They're playing the Niners, who are losing games, just like the Bears are. So I'm going to go with the home team. And Justin Fields hopefully has a bounce back game. I like Larry Borum as well. I had a conversation with Juan Castillo, the offensive line coach at camp, and he was speaking really highly of Larry Borum, even more so than anybody else on the line. And we had a good 3 or 4 minute conversation, and Larry Borum was the guy that he gave the most accolades to. So I'll be interested to see how he looks out there in a Bears uniform here in the regular season. Be interesting. I am interested quickly, Johnny, before we cut this baby loose. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark, along with the Chiefs struggles, they're playing really good teams, so you don't overstate it. They're a talented team. I'm sure they'll bounce back at some point, but I am interested to hear your opinion with Jackson Mahomes. I don't know. Is he becoming a distraction or is that overstated? I'm seeing these TikTok videos where people are joking that Patrick looks miserable in them. And his brother seems a little bit of a goofball and enjoys the social media attention he gets from his, brother's fame, which you see with other family members. That's not something that's just a Patrick Mahomes thing. I think you'll see that in other places as well, but he obviously gets a lot of attention because Patrick Mahomes is such a star-studded athlete. But then I also wanted to get your opinion on the whole Sean Taylor thing where he, was kind of dancing either on or near the emblem they put on the field, maybe, a slight of disrespect towards Sean Taylor. What's your overall opinion of this whole Jackson Mahomes thing? Is he becoming too much of a distraction to his brother?
Well, first of all, I just like to say whether you're Jackson Mahomes or whether you're the Manning brother that I don't even know his name, it's not an easy situation to be in when you have like the two Manning brothers that won Super Bowls are in the limelight and you're doing something else, and then you have this phenom that came on, won Super Bowl MVP, won league MVP. So with that being said, this is a different generation, even Juju Smith-Schuster, he's like a baller and he's doing TikToks and stuff like that. Maybe you and I and some people in the chat don't understand it. I don't really understand it myself, but I will say this. As far as the Jackson Mahomes stuff goes, he's been doing that before Patrick Mahomes was a big star. And a lot of these things that are being brought up lately, some of them that are being put out there are very old. Like a couple of them I saw this week are from like 2 or 3 years ago. Now, as far as the one with the Taylor at the Redskins game, Washington football team, I apologize. That is the area that they had them go in to stand because they had certain rules for COVID and all that. Now, with that being said, I think Washington could have did a better job of maybe not putting that area right where the guy's number is, right? But as a person understanding football history and what's going on, I think you got to have a little bit more, whereabouts and knowledge where you're standing and what you're doing. So I think he made a mistake. I think he knows.
You don't think it was intentional?
I do not, because he did put an apology out there. Whether I don't know whether or not he really meant it or not, but he did put an apology out there. And as far as
there was the video of him pouring the drink on somebody
during Baltimore
a few games ago, so he definitely seems like edgy. He gets.
Listen. I don't understand it. I would never do it, but I'm not going to sit here and judge other people because a lot of people do this TikTok and all these other social media things. And, is it a distraction? You know what it is? It's a distraction.
It just seems like with the what I meant with the pouring of the drink was he's kind of he shit talks, he's on that. He has no problem talking some shit. And then all of a sudden he's doing something by Sean Taylor's thing. And you can't for sure definitively say his intentions, but you have to be smarter than that.
Well, I just think a lot of this generation, dude, they just do what they're going to do, and they, and they don't really see what's going around in all the different areas, whether it's in front of them, behind them. They're in the moment, and I see this in my travels all over the country. It's like things are different now. What was important to you or I is not important to a lot of these people that do social media for a living or on it. Like, I don't have TikTok. It pops up on my Twitter feed, people's TikToks every day. With that being said, in Baltimore when he dumped the water on the guy, he's got to be better than that. But
I thought that was honestly funny.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I didn't have an issue with that at all because the Baltimore fan was begging for it and he got it. And I honestly thought the Baltimore fan kind of took it well. Like he asked for it, he got it, and he didn't like freak out and start yelling assault afterwards or something. Well, he just laughed and that was it,
Mahomes actually did address that one, the water one, but you didn't see the other parts of the video where the Baltimore fan, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I thought it was funny and I thought the Baltimore fan deserved it in that one. The Sean Taylor one, to me, seemed intentional. Can't prove it. I know there's a lot of fans that feel that way, but I do.
Well, why are you putting that anywhere near? If you're honoring somebody, why are you having anybody?
Well, do you think they had that in different parts? Do you think that was the only part of the field, or do you think it was on all four sides of the field?
They said they had multiple areas, not just the one where the Kansas City people were standing, where they had people walking on the number. where I come from, you're putting that number somewhere where nobody's going to walk or stand. Like you got to do a better job as Jackson Mahomes, but you got to do a better job if you're the Washington football team.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation because Washington, has a memorial to try to basically shed some attention away from what they have going on. But,
this is the bottom line for me. Distractions are around us, and no matter what wake of life we're in, it's only a distraction if you allow it to be a distraction. We're not losing because of Jackson Mahomes.
No,
we're losing because we can't hold on to the damn football. And if you want to blame Jackson Mahomes, if you want to blame, the defense not playing well, because the defense held King Henry to 85 yards last week and 0 touchdowns. He had one touchdown pass on a fluke play. So if you're going to tell me we held Derrick Henry to 85 yards and didn't let him score the second half, that we were going to win, I would have told you we'd have blown them off. The offense is playing bad. The defense plays pretty good. The defense plays horrible. The offense, we're never clicking at the same time.
No, it's a football problem. I'm not in any way saying, Twitter is going to make their jokes. And when they, the Chiefs are the low hanging fruit to pick on right now because they're struggling. And then, you got Jackson doing silly TikToks with his wife. And that's easy to diss on Twitter. But the Sean Taylor thing did rub me the wrong way. And I do think he's got to dial it back for his brother's sake. I mean, I've seen it with other family members. You see it on Twitter. It's easy to get defensive or, or whatever. And then, like you said, the whole social media thing of, look at the quarterback's mom from New York. She had her moment before the season, talking about her social media presence. So, it's a social media world we live in now, and people are pulling way too hard for attention in weird ways, but at the end of the day,
many games, they're there all the time. I've seen Jackson Mahomes up close with Brittany, in Jacksonville a couple years ago, and a couple other games. They're always there. They're not doing anything to anybody, to be honest with you. They're having fun. Yeah, he took a video at the wrong time, in the wrong place. There was 100 other places he probably could have did that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not lie about that. He could have did that anywhere else outside.
Yeah, he's got to be smarter.
Yeah,
he's
whatever
for his brother's sake, because it's not him that's, they're going to talk shit about Jackson, but it's Patrick that's got to wear it, and he's got enough shit going on with the team on the field. So,
the stakes are high, baby.
But yeah, you guys, I'm not, like we were saying earlier in the show, I'm not feeling too sorry for the struggles because you guys have had some really big time success here, and struggles happen in the NFL, and the NFL is starting to, make adjustments. And now it's up to Kansas City and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to adjust back on the field. But, it would help if the outside distractions dial it down a bit and not give the fodder for some of this talk that, really players on the field don't concern themselves with, but, is certainly stuff for podcasts and media types and fans to talk about. So just wanted to get your thoughts on it. I know there's been a lot of craziness with Chiefs Kingdom and the fans in the stands fighting a couple weeks ago. And now you got this. And I saw some of the players talking about how the fans have been hard on them on Instagram. I think that was today. Tyrann Mathieu and a few others. So, it's just interesting to see, right? Because right now, to me, the story of the season is the Chiefs and how they're struggling, of all the different stories there are. So, and you're probably one of the biggest Chiefs fans in the world. So,
like I said, we lead the NFL in turnovers. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, you
cannot win in the NFL turning the ball
over. And that is interesting because, going into the draft, the comparison Mahomes got was Jay Cutler. And then he was anything but that here until this point in his career. He was a guy that made no mistakes and just threw 70 touchdown passes, the greatest quarterback to ever live, $500 million. That was the trajectory he was heading on.
Right.
Now the league's kind of made an adjustment.
He's still second in touchdowns. I'm just going to throw that out there.
100%. But, now they're, trying to keep everything in front. And now all of a sudden you're seeing the turnovers that, the scouting report said he was prone to do. Took 4 years for the NFL to figure out how to get those turnovers. But here we are. And now he does kind of have a little bit of Jay Cutler in him, in that he's a gunslinger and he's not afraid to throw a pick, but he's going to throw his touchdowns. And it'll just be interesting to see if he can get back, and Andy Reid in that offense, get back to the well-oiled machine that we've known them to be. As Johnny, always the money guy, my money's on they'll figure it out. But for now, the Chiefs are certainly taking some haymakers, and we'll see how they stand up to it.
I'm not saying we're gonna be the first or second seed in the NFL this year, because that, obviously anything is possible. You can get on any kind of winning streak. Like one time we were 1-5, and then we rattled off 10 in a row or something like that with the Chiefs in the Alex Smith era. But I will say this: we've had a very tough schedule, thus far, and it doesn't get much easier down the stretch here. I think they'll get into the playoffs, and then I know that no one's going to want to play us. So that's kind of my feeling right now. I'm not saying we're going to be the first or second seed. That'll be hard. I do think we'll make the playoffs and we'll get in there, with the extra spot especially. We do have that tiebreaker over Cleveland, which I think could be huge down the stretch. And we'll see what happens. I think that, obviously they got the Giants coming in this week on Monday Night Football. I think we're going to take care of business pretty easily. I think it'll be a 13-point victory or more. And then we'll see how it goes from there. But then we got Aaron Rodgers coming in. That team's a little bit beat up. But, Rodgers, as we saw last night, it doesn't matter who's on the field. He's just finding ways to win. So I'm looking forward to it.
I hate Aaron Rodgers.
The last time that Rodgers and Mahomes were supposed to play, Mahomes dislocated his kneecap, and he didn't play that game. So Arrowhead's going to be rocking regardless. And, I'm looking forward to the challenge, of getting back, on the winning track. And, hopefully the people and members of the fan base in Chiefs Kingdom, whether they've been around a long time or a lot of these newbies with the Mahomes era, they can settle down a little bit and not kill each other, whether it's Jackson Mahomes or, actually calling out players when these people have never played any kind of athletic event in their entire lives, most likely at any high level. And we'll go from there, because it's all about making plays. It's all about taking care of the ball. And if you do that, you'll be in a position to have more points at the end of the game than your opponent.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out for sure, but wouldn't be too worried about the Chiefs. I mean, obviously, you got to keep your eye on how they improve here, but my money's on them turning it around. They better, because I got Patrick Mahomes on my fantasy team, and last week, if he'd have just had his normal day, I might have won, but nobody cares about my fantasy team.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Wanted to shout out one more time our guy, Sasha Stefanovic from Purdue University and the Purdue Boilermakers basketball team, senior guard, for coming on the show here just a few days ago. Had a great Purdue college basketball show. If you're interested, go back and watch that. Really good stuff. There he is with my daughter Addison, and we revealed his shirt. We're gonna debut the shirt, I think, on Monday. After I get through my Bears madness and Halloween madness this weekend. We're going to debut the Serbian Sniper. Maybe he comes out tomorrow. We'll see. The Serbian Sniper shirt. That's the country outline in the background of Serbia.
Thanks for the geography lesson, dude. My best friend is Serbian. I'm Croatian. You know that,
okay,
right?
Very nice. So but maybe some of the people in the chat aren't aware. And then the crest is actually their crest, with a little bit of a modification in the middle with, of course, Sasha's initials and his number, and then his nickname at the bottom, Serbian Sniper. So shout out to Jake for his hard work here, our co-host and graphic designer and producer here at Brags in the Stands, for putting this together. It will be debuting in the Brags in the Stands shirt shop here very shortly for all you Purdue fans. So I'm excited to debut that, but I wanted to give a shout out to Jake for making that, because it's really
friends are probably just going to want the shirt so they can call themselves the Serbian Sniper.
Yeah, it's a sweet shirt in general. Even I agree, it's just a sweet shirt in general. So I'm excited. That's not really in shirt form with the picture, but that's just the graphic. But yes, boiler up all day. I will not hear any boiler slander in the chat, Chubbs. I will put you in timeout if I have to. But no, wanted to shout out Sasha for coming on the show, and of course shout out Jake for making the shirt. So I think that about wraps things up for tonight. I do want to also shout out my guy Kyle, our good friend here. Me and Kyle went to the game last night. Bulls fell short, of course, as we talked about with Buzz, but it was a lot of fun. He's a good friend of mine. He's been through a lot here these last few months personally, so it was nice to be able to get out with him and go to a ball game and take one in. At least the Bulls made it entertaining, and we had a lot of fun. So I appreciate you. You're my brother, Kyle, and look forward to more games in the stands in the future. Also want to shout out Stacy King and Adam Amin here. That was the first night, the opening night. Got to meet two of the best in the business. They're really, really, really nice guys and nice enough to take a picture. So wanted to give those guys a shout out. And then, of course, Matt and Dave from they used to be on Bulls Outsiders on NBC Sports Chicago, and they do great work on Bulls Twitter with their own Bulls podcast. Well, I don't have to bring them on the show here eventually to talk some Bulls basketball, since you and me, Johnny B, are both big-time Bulls fans. These guys are as good as it gets, along with Buzz, at bringing you Bulls content, and I ran into them last night as we were leaving the stadium. So wanted to give Matt and Dave a big shout-out. They're really cool guys, so shout out to them. And of course, shout out to our guy Buzz, Brad Squires from On Tap Sportsnet at Buzz on Tap. Does a Bulls on Tap, Sox on Tap, Bulls post-game shows, everything else. And he spent well over an hour with us talking Bulls, talking Bears, talking Arlington Heights and everything in between. So really, really appreciate you and all your time tonight, Buzz, and we look forward to bringing you on again. Good conversation all day, every day. That's right, Trey. We are everywhere here on Brags in the Stands, and you're going to be with me, Trey, on Sunday for Bears 49ers. We went to a Cubs game earlier this year and sat in the bleachers, and the Cubs won on a walk-off, and hopefully the Bears win on a walk-off touchdown or a walk-off field goal with Cairo Santos.
Santos from
with my good luck charm in the stands with me, Trey Tunes. And you can watch the Trey Tunes Show weekly, talking sports and playing hits, weekdays 12 to 2, live only on Twitch. And make sure you follow him on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else you can find him, YouTube and all the nines. This guy does amazing work and is a really good dude, very creative guy. So look forward to hanging out with him at the Bears game on Sunday. But excited for all that. So those are all my shout outs that I wanted to get through. And now, Johnny B, I will let you finish with your Johnny B thoughts, as you always do here on Brags in the Stands.
All right, football Sunday's almost upon us. Just one more full day to wait, and then you got your Bears 49ers, all the rest of the action. And Monday Night Football, Patrick Mahomes tries to get it back together. So remember, money won is far sweeter than money earned. Woo! Let's go get it. Let's go get it.
Man, that woo was kind of – it wasn't your normal authority that you bring. Are you getting tired on us? It is later.
I'm not getting tired, man. I mean, sometimes you bring it. Sometimes
is your better half sleeping? Is that why you kind of dialed down?
She could be.
She could be. Okay. It just felt like normally it's maybe the Chiefs' struggles are getting to you. I don't know. It's just
dude, it's like 3 and 4. It's not like we're always. It's not that. I mean, it's bad, but it's not that bad.
We got the same record as the Bears, and we're ready to burn everything down. So I don't know, Johnny. I think you might be in a little bit of denial here.
The NFC East. Watch out.
Okay. All right. All right. Hey, I'm just looking out for you, Johnny B.
Yeah.
Bear Truth 9 says I'm blitzing you like I did last year when I predicted potentially the Bucks to
listen. You guys can predict all you want. We had no offensive line, but the truth be told is I already got my Super Bowl. So everything, I'm still here to win, but you can't take it. You can't take it. So you can blitz me all you want with your.
I'm not. I'm just looking out for you as a concerned friend.
Your weird love of Tom Brady and his avocado ice cream. You can have all that. You can have all that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I respect him. There's no doubt about it. I respect the hell out of Tom.
There you go.
It is what it is. But that wraps things up here for tonight. Yeah, Chubb says when all else fails, just hold up that ring.
That's right.
And he can hold it up proudly. Hopefully we get ours one day here in Chicago, but not anytime soon. But again, thank you to everyone in the chat for hanging out. If you're at the Bears game on Sunday, find Trey Tunes and I. Maybe we'll buy you a drink. Maybe we'll make Pat Black take a shot with us. Who knows? I might not be drinking, but I know Trey will be drinking with Pat. So make sure you find us in South Lot or at Soldier Field or wherever else. But again, shout out to everybody in the chat for hanging out here tonight. And we will see you next time. No post-game show on Sunday. Going to do the trick-or-treating when I get home. So maybe Monday we'll hit it. Maybe Trey will join us. We'll see how it all shakes down. But always be on the lookout for our next announcements or when we go live. And hopefully you can join us once again. So that wraps things up for tonight.
Peace.
For Johnny B, I am Gregory Braggs Jr. And as always, this is Braggs in the Stands. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.